Yeah, just cut. Sorry. Wait, you need to tell me how to operate. How you run? Because you'll be there, right?
Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah. So you show me.
Yeah, I know in the images.
Set up transition. You are doing live, eh? Oh.
Yeah. everyone. Welcome back for day 2 of our Singapore Nationals 2025. Esmond here with Fun Fei. Sorry, not Mervin. But yeah, Fun Fei. First, how was day 1?
Wow, I think day one is amazing. It really shows like the prowess of our Singaporean players.
And well, I kind of looked at the conversion rates already for some of the heroes. We have some exciting heroes left in here. But first of all, thank you if you're joining us on this stream. This is going to be 3 rounds of CC, followed by the cut to top 8. So yesterday we had 3 rounds of CC, followed by 2 drafts. And yeah, so conversion rates. Yesterday we saw almost half the field. Well, a lot of Syndras. 19,
19
Syndras.
Syndras,
Yes.
yes.
A lot of Azaleas, a lot of Gravies. And surprise, surprise, Syndra has a very good conversion rate.
Yep.
But I think another one with a good conversion rate is Azalea as well.
Oh no. Nah, just joking.
Yeah. That's Fun Fei is a well-known Azalea player. But yeah, so we are going to look into our day 2 conversion rates, the rest of the heroes. There are a total of 48 players left today. Although I suspect not all of them might be here because some of them who have fewer wins, they might drop out.
And play the national invites.
Yes, there's a
Worlds-
qualifier.
Yeah, the Worlds qualifier.
Yes. So a lot of one-offs here with 100% records. There's an Auxilio, there's a Dash, there's a KO, there's a Rhina. Those are the one-offs that are left. And as for the top conversion rates, besides the 100%, well, Kano and Dash.io, right? 4 and 3, both 100%.
Yep.
And then Azalea, 75%.
Wow.
Yao, 2 out of 3 made it. Slippy, 4 out of 6. And Gravy, half of them made it as well.
And one Kasai, 100%.
And one Kasai, yeah.
And oh wait, there's a Dash IE also.
And there's a Dash IE, yeah. And we can see the top 10 players. The top 10 players for the standings. We are going to feature some of them on the next couple of streams. But in first is Brennan Pei on Slippy.
Yeah, he's our residential boating player, but recently he was playing Slippery when it first came out, when Hunted came out. He's doing exceptional with him.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's practiced a lot.
Practice a lot.
But I want to point out, we have a Puffin. We have 2 Dash.ios.
Yes.
We have an Auxilio in here.
Yep.
And of course, our current reigning champ, Jinhan, at 7th, with Verdance doing well also. And we can also look at the next 10 players, the 11 to 20. These are the people with the 6-3s with a good chance of getting the top 8.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Don't count them out yet.
Yeah, the Kasai is here. We see the Ben Lim on Azalea.
Yep.
And there's Ivan, who is Brennan's teammate on Slippy as well.
Yep.
And Dory and Kano.
Wow.
very-
Scary stuff.
Yes. Yes, so I think the players are already seated down for the game. We can take a look at our matchup that we're going to cast. Keith, on Puffin,
Okay.
we wanted to get him on yesterday,
Yep.
but he declined. I think he has some spicy sauce for this Puffin deck.
Yes.
And Timothy Teo, we saw a lot of yesterday. He crushed the draft. He was doing very well with Puffin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know that Keith actually went 9 rounds of Puffin yesterday? On
Oh,
draft.
yes.
So,
So
so the funny thing was that he actually went in wanting to force Puffin every draft.
oh.
It's like, everyone says that Puffin is a bad hero. He's here to prove everyone wrong.
I
that,
see.
That you can actually play Puffin well in not in draft and in CC.
I see. So he did it then.
Yeah.
He did well. He did well with 9 rounds of Puffin.
Yeah, and all that Puffin testing's really paid off. Like he really understand the core mechanics, the value mechanic of like Puffin in both CC and draft.
I mean, I think it's going to be quite different in CC though, surely.
Surely. Yeah.
Right. We don't exactly know the contents of his deck, but I've heard that she plays a bit like a Guardian.
Oh, the secret is out.
I've heard whisperings.
Okay.
But
I didn't like that.
No, definitely not. But I think Syndra might be a bit difficult. And especially Timothy. Timothy is a well-known,
Brute player.
I was
Well,
going to say aggro player.
okay, wait,
Yeah.
but he qualified for PT Sing with Aurora. also.
Exactly, yeah. So from Aurora, now he's transitioned
Turning
to a fire ninja.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's well versed in the aggro deck.
Quite well. He's quite good at playing the aggressive meta decks.
Yes,
I would
yes,
say.
yes. He is. I mean, these two are both good players.
Mm.
Currently very high on our rankings. And I believe the timer has already started. It's probably about 50 minutes now. Yep. So Puffin and Syndra. I'm actually quite scared for Keith here.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't say it's the. I would say the matchup that Keith is trying to run into. It's the best because Puffin Puffin have always have the issue of not having a lot of defensive armor against a
Mm.
Syndra.
Mm.
I think one of the ways that you can beat a Syndra is having a good armor package
Mm.
and above rate 2-card hand, so you can block efficiently and able to throw damage efficiently back at Syndra.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But is how important is Mask here?
Mass of momentum.
Yeah, is Keith gonna try and block that out?
Hmm. Okay, so that he might not actually have to do that,
Oh, okay.
because Puffin actually has access to one new mech card in High Seas that actually target armor pieces.
Well, but I mean, you have to like you don't get to choose which armor piece, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but you can always lead with a T-bone to
Mhm.
force like the blocking from like the Dragonflight skillers,
Mhm.
and then you play like a Palantir at
Right.
the end.
Right. Right.
And one of the weakness of Syndra is that 3 of her armor pieces are all big bricks.
Right. Yes.
So being put up on the combat chain will immediately destroy them.
Yes. Yes. T-Bone. T-Bone actually one of my favorite cards.
And actually, we look at Keith there, he's running a very interesting weapon.
Oh wait, he just okay. So he's pitched a Bastion
Yeah, he pitched a
and
best.
into the pistol,
Yep.
and looks like that's all he's doing.
Yeah, he's not running any of the new guns
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we saw this at the calling, one of the first calling after this was released, and I
Yep.
saw a Puffin running the pistol,
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, that makes sense.
Mm.
Okay, so Timothy getting on the offensive, and Keith happy here to block with the Conqueror.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of builds for Puffin right now that I see online.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the more interesting aggressive build was like the Hanabe Blaster.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you go like full boost,
Full boost.
and then playing a gun that actually can chip damage with the overpower.
Yep. All right. So Timothy here has flick knives, I believe.
Yep.
Sending the kunai to the graveyard and coming in with a cut through red, so 0 for 4, and this is the guardian thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Blocking for 4, and third attack here, rising resentment.
Coming for 4 also
Mhm.
because of
The fire.
the
fire
yeah,
attack.
yeah,
Yes.
Fire Fist, yes.
Yes, pumping the draconic attack by 1. So a lot of breakpoints here, and this is the plan, right, for Syndra? You're trying to chip damage every turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's the strength of Syndra over most other aggro decks because of the combination of flick knives and like awkward numbers,
yep.
the breakpoints. Yeah,
Breakpoints.
you can actually chip a lot of damage against like more defensive decks like Victor, Bravo,
Mm.
or
Yes.
Betsy, or any of the other guardians.
Yes,
Because
okay.
once your armor runs out, you can't really block any of the
Yeah,
breakpoints without a D-React.
Yep. But there are so many DRX now.
Yeah, there's a lot of power blocks now.
All right, this looks like a Sky Skimmer.
For 4.
And yeah, Tim's just saying no blocks. I heard that over the mic. And down to 36. 36 plays 38. Back over to Timothy.
Oh, back over. Yeah,
Sorry,
over,
back over
back
to Timothy. Yeah.
Wow.
Oof.
Oof. It's a
Starting off.
5-cat hand with a
With the oath.
oath. Very scary stuff.
Let's see, 4 times 5.
That feels like aura numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, he wants to go at least, 6 attacks long, right?
Yeah.
Trigger mask twice. I mean, threaten mask twice.
Threaten mask twice, yes.
Yeah. So Keith is taking this first 4. Let's see what the follow-up is from Timothy. Still 4 cards in hand. It's going to be a display loyalty. And this is just 3 go again, makes the fealty.
Yep.
Is the fealty important?
I think in Syndra, like currently I think the fealty is not as important in Syndra compared to the earlier versions.
Yep.
I think some of the earlier version of Syndra runs like a lot of Dragonfire,
Yeah.
a lot of those require fealty,
Yeah.
additional effect over fealty kind of effect. But I think the fealty is still important because of most Syndra lists will run 3 oath.
3 oaths.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
the
yes.
fealty actually goes around the requirement of having to play a draconic card in that chain link.
Okay, but we got a glimpse of Keith's hand there, and I saw a 2-block in erase phase. So this might not be a blocking turn from Keith.
Yep.
Right, and this is just numbers right now.
Yep.
Ronin Renegade, 3 go again. And this is currently the first of chain link to hit. He needs to chain 2 more attacks to threaten Mars.
I think this will also threaten Mars because of the he flicked a dagger just now, right? On the second.
Did he flick?
I think he
Ah,
did.
okay.
Yeah.
So he flicked. Okay.
So the second chain link actually hits.
Right. Okay. No, but then he would have drawn on Ronin Renegade. No?
Did he take link? Oh, maybe he didn't
Yeah,
flick it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think he flicked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about it. Yeah, he didn't flick the knife. So he opted to
Yeah.
flick the last knife to
And then
get
bring-
back the through the blood run steep. Yep.
But Keith blocked here with the erase phase. So what's his plan for next turn?
I mean, we will never know what goes in the mind of this
This Puffin.
this guy.
Is there another one in the arsenal, perhaps?
Yeah.
This is Rising Resentment coming in for 3, and I think Timothy has no cards in hand, so this doesn't actually have a hit effect. It's just 3 damage.
Yep. But he managed to chip like about 7 damage. this
Yeah,
turn.
yeah. 7 plus the flick, I think so 8 total.
8 total damage.
And if Keith takes this, it's going to be an 11 damage turn. And he got back the daggers.
Yep.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, it's a long turn.
Really good spot for Timothy right now.
Is he going to play this kind of game where he goes 3 cards into 5 cards into 3 cards? That's a lone shark. by
There's
the
a
way.
lone shark.
Yeah, that's a lone shark blocking this Rising Resentment.
Yes.
And is that the spice?
Okay, so from
Wait,
what I see
Did he
right
flick-
now,
Didn't he flick already?
no, he didn't flick. He blood runs deep to throw the dagger.
Oh,
then
okay,
he
okay.
take back.
Blood
Then he
runs
flick
deep.
at the
Okay,
end.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So one of the dagger was gone last turn.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought it was flick. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, so you were saying.
So I think Keith deck is a bit more on the pirate heavy side. So he's unfortunately here he launches
Yeah.
CNC without
Yeah.
team having an arsenal.
Yeah, and he did have a second erase phase.
Yep.
So pitching that plus Tunic to send a CNC just for 6 damage. Yeah, still. I was going to say not insignificant, but it feels quite insignificant at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe Tim, like I said, is he trying to set up like big 5-card hands
Yep.
every other turn, that kind of thing. And that's how he pushes through damage, perhaps.
And I'm not sure about team because this I don't think team knows the deck list of Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
No
there's
one
a very
knows.
good chance that he just assume that Keith is like on a dash IO plan, a very aggressive plan, and choose to like bot in D-Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So there's a
maybe.
chance that team doesn't really have a D-Rex in hand and is unable to block with it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, because Puffin is unknown right now.
Yep.
Everyone's saying that she's difficult.
She requires a lot.
yes. Not the easiest hero to build.
Not the
Because,
easiest.
partly because there are 2 distinct plans, right? You can go on the mech plan, you can go to the pirate plan,
Yep.
right? And like you were saying, Keith is more on the pirate plan. We saw Conquerors, and we've seen all these disruptive effects like Erase Phase, CMC.
Yep.
So very, very good pummel targets.
Yep. Palmer is a really good card in Puffin. I tested it. Most of the attacks that requires you to have a cog to give it an attack, it makes it so that Palmer is really hard to block, even with a D-Reg.
Yeah. Okay, so this has been Kunai. He pitched a red here to start off the chain into a red brand with Cinderclaw.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I think now the Syndras, they run a couple of blues, right?
Yep.
Like, you have to have that Draconic starter. Otherwise, most of the cards in your hand, they just need the Draconic card first to go again.
I think the reason why they're running the blue, for one, it's against like Zhao, the ice heroes
yes.
that requires you to have a bit more pitch
Yes.
in the event that you have a frostbite. the other interesting thing that they recently add was spreading flames.
Oh yes.
Yeah, spreading flames is a
That
very interesting card in Fi. Like it was like staple in Fi. Like you just whenever you see this card being played in the first chain in Fi, you know that you're gonna take a lot of damage. It works wonders in Syndra because off a blue, your daggers actually converts to 4 to 2 damage each.
Very strong.
Yeah, and you actually can continue the chaining at chaining 4.
Yeah.
So most of your attack that's 3 base will get
Will
the
get +1.
from the
Yeah.
spreading flames.
But this has been a demonstrate devotion, and Keith here blocking with the arm piece and a pinion sentry,
Yep.
making the cog and then immediately tapping it to make another one.
Yes.
And it looks like he cranked both of them.
Yep.
So he's drawn off of that with Puffin's ability.
Yes.
And Tim just gonna flick one of his daggers here and bring them both right back with an arsenal.
Yep. I think Team is demonstrating the defensive powers of Puffin.
Like, oh, Tim is
Oh,
demonstrating.
sorry. Keith is demonstrating the defensive powers of Puffin.
Yes, for sure.
I think that he actually made a cock of the arms.
Yes, the arm piece.
And then he actually tapped the cock
Yes.
to create another cock so that he cranked twice during your opponent's turn so he can draw a card.
Yes, and this is another twice crank turn. The super duper FAP preview card, Cog in the Machine.
Cock octane.
Yes, Cog Octane. This is gonna create 2 golden cogs, and if he wants to, he can tap a cog, put the cog in the machine back in the bottom of the library. But looks like he's not gonna do that. He's just gonna leave them untapped, which kind of indicates he has a payoff for them,
Yes.
right? So drew a card of the Puffin ability. Now he has 3 cards in hand, I believe.
Yes. Oh, look at that. The Palantir.
Yes. So that's the payoff.
There is the
Right,
payoff.
that is the payoff. You want to have 3 cogs. That's the thing. What I found when playing Puffin is that 3 is the magic number.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them, you have like twice per turn instant. You can tap twice, and then on hit you tap the third one to get the effect. And then dovetail on hit you untap all your cogs. But you want to pump it twice and then give it go again, right? But yeah, so here he doesn't have the 3 cogs. He's gonna pitch the Palantir to play a Zeppelin, and he can't activate the twice per turn instant plus the on hit in this case, but he can pump it by 1 up to 7, and then on hit tap the other cog and make another cog
And fire the pistol for 2.
and fire the pistol for 2. Yes. All right. So Syndra is not blocking.
Yep.
Took all 7 damage, and yep, he's gonna do the thing. All right. Let's see. Keith has to.
I think he went a
Yes.
bit too
Yeah.
too fast.
He was like, yes, I
Yeah.
have go again.
Yeah, go again.
But no, he has to crank the new cog first if he wants to shoot the gun.
He doesn't have to crank it, but because you have 2 action points from.
Oh,
the-
right. Yes.
yeah,
From cog in the machine, my
from
bad.
cog in the machine.
Yes. Cog in the machine, actually, I really like it with pistol and with symbiosis shot in Dio.
Yep.
I've been trying to figure out if there's a place for Cog in the machine in Dash IO.
I think it does. I mean, unlimited ammo shots. You know.
Right, yeah. You play it, it converts to 4 damage. It goes back in.
Yeah.
Play it. You just have to keep like 2 cards in deck.
And it's very good with Cerebellum also.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, Cerebellum is just a good card.
Mm.
But here we are seeing the Syndra legendary Wrath of Retribution.
Yep.
And this is going to allow him to get the daggers off for cheaper.
Yep.
And also pump the daggers.
I think one of the upside of running more blues, it also allows Syndra to start with Wrath to swing the double dagger.
Yes.
And if teams actually have a Blood Run Deep in his hand right now, it's a lot of damage.
Yes.
You can actually flick both daggers and then take them back and then swing with both the daggers again.
Okay, but Blue Bastion here. Bastion is a really good card into Syndra.
Yeah, it used to be like staple in most fatigue decks, and fatigue dashes and.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe it still is, or rather should have come back, perhaps.
But fatigue dash is not really a thing right
Well,
now.
we have one Dash IE, right? We saw one Dash
Yeah,
IE
yeah.
who converted, so who knows? Alright, so Bastion's going to prevent 1, but Kunai is still going to dig another 1.
I think team is looking at his blood skill,
Blood splatter.
blood
vest.
splattered
Yep.
vest to either
Get-
down counter to get a resource.
Yep. So he has one float right now, 3 cards still left in hand, and life totals are pretty close, 22 to 23.
Yes.
So in we come with another demonstrate devotion.
Yep.
4 go again.
Yeah, for 4 go again.
Yet another breakpoint. I believe Keith did have, yep,
A direct,
a second
shelter in hand.
second shelter. So we're gonna cover that cleanly.
But-
And oh, it says reaction step. There's a throw dagger.
Yep.
All right, so throwing a dagger
To draw a card.
to draw a card.
But the downside is that the dagger have to hit for the draw effect to trigger.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, if damage is dealt this way, then it is hit, then you draw a card. So you can prevent it with like a shelter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is a very important dagger throw because taking back the dagger from Synindra right now will allow team to swing the dagger another time
For 2 and 2.
for 2 and 2 with the rough.
Wow.
And they are for free. So
Yes. Wow.
that's a really big turn for team.
Yes, yes. So it's been 3 into 2, so 3, 2, 4, and this is an ignite coming for 2 go again. It's gonna be at least 2 more dagger attacks behind,
Yes.
and 1 more card. Yes, plus and yes, he does still have flick knives. Yeah, so that is
So this is quite a big turn for team.
that is a very big turn. Keith here has already blocked with 3 cards. This is his 4th card blocking now.
So team is forced to block. Keith is forced to block this because this attack will actually trigger the mass of momentum.
Yep. But so Timothy does flick to continue the chain link to continue hitting on the chain links, right? So every attack is gonna trigger mask, basically.
Attack action
Yeah,
cards.
attack action card, yeah.
The dagger doesn't really trigger the mass, but it's still quite a bit of damage.
This is free 2 damage.
Yeah, and there's still a dragonfly active on team side,
Yes.
so you can swing one of the dagger additional time.
Yes. So players are just confirming whether mask trigger is active. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So 4 chain links have hit.
All chain links.
Or rather, this is the 4th chain link.
Yes.
Okay, so Keith is gonna block this. Try and reset the chain links, perhaps.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Keith should not have blocked that because of the dragonfly skillers. Because team could actually swing the dagger additional time
yes.
to have the lava burst be the 3rd attack.
Yes.
So that the muscle momentum will still trigger.
You mean the last card in hand,
The
right?
last card, in hand, yeah.
Is there a lava burst?
I think there's
You
a
saw
lava
a
burst.
lava
I think
burst?
it's a lava burst.
Ouch, that's gonna hurt.
That's gonna hurt.
But he does still have adaptive plating up.
Yep.
That can block for 3.
Yes.
He has multiple cogs that he can galvanize to that.
Yeah.
But here we're going to see the dragon scalers activated. Wow, this is a huge turn. But that's why it's legendary, right? The rough. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
one-off
yeah.
copy.
It's for these kind of turns.
Yeah, and it's
And-
really good hindsight to make it 3 attack, not 2. If not, it can be tilted with links.
All right, and here we do see Keith throwing his armor in front of this, galvanizing a cog here, blocking for 5. Not really getting the full value out of the Crown of Providence.
Yep.
But that's fine, right? You prevent a card being drawn. Wait, does he? No, because it's not the 3rd chaining to hit.
This should be the 3rd chaining to hit.
But he blocked the first dagger, no?
Because the dagger hit twice. Because of the dragonfly. Yeah.
Right. Okay,
So
okay.
it's
Because
dagger.
of the
Yeah.
dragon scalers, yes. All right, so Keith's just gonna draw up and pass.
So at this point in the game, I think Keith have a bit of is a bit on the bad foot right now. He's down about 5 life. It's not too bad. However, he's out of armor.
Yes.
So a lot of the break points that team is presenting now requires a specific direct to block out.
I'm just wondering where Keith pivots here.
Usually it's the turn after the rough because team probably won't have the daggers
Yeah.
to
Exactly,
to
right?
extend the chain.
So if there's a turn to kind of go for it and try and take back tempo, this is probably the turn.
Yeah, this is probably the turn.
But Tim here has Ignite into Ancestral Empowerment. So getting in for 3 damage and drawing a card.
Wow. Is
And
that a cut
looks
through?
like
I think he drew a cut
yeah,
through.
I think he does have a cut through. There's a brand which is yellow and a art of dragon fire. It looks like. Yep. So what does he do here? Does he just send the art of dragon fire?
I um I think at team's side, for one, my priority right now is to get back both my daggers,
Yeah,
so that I can continue to chip my opponent with the flick knife.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And maybe if I, because I also started with a ignite, I actually have. Oh, actually he played something after that, so it actually take away the reduced cost of ignite.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't really have the discount.
So does he? I mean, he can still pitch the cut through, right? And
Mm.
then play the art of dragon fire.
Yep.
He doesn't have to crack a fealty because Brand makes it draconic already.
Yes, but he requires the pitch for it.
Yes.
I think one of the play line that I might have done is that maybe I'll have started with like the brand first, then the ignite,
Brand
then I will
ignite,
crack
yeah.
the fealty to play the dragon fire.
Oh wow, but he's just sending a cut through here.
Yes. So cut through is draconic, but it doesn't have go again.
Yeah.
However, this is 3 draconic chain link so that team can take back the dagger.
So he's setting up for a big turn next turn.
Setting up for a big turn next turn.
Right, and then sending the art of dragon fire.
Yeah.
Hopefully after a long chain link
Mm.
next turn.
And this is a very tricky attack also, because it also demands like 4 block here. Because what team can do is he can take back both the dagger, flick the dagger, to give cut through +1
And go again.
and go again, which will also trigger mass. So Keith is sort of inclined to block at least 4 here.
And we see that blocking 6 with the pinion sentry making another cog. And yeah, we see exactly what you said, right? So getting back the daggers, flicking it, giving cut through +1, go again, getting the third resource from the vest. Yeah, very, very good sequencing here overall for this game, for this turn. But cracking a fealty and sending the Art of Dragonfire. Dealing 2 damage to face and then coming for 5.
Yeah, I think it's a very heads-up play from Timothy, because he knows that the pirate class and mech class doesn't really have much destruction other than the arsenal.
Yeah,
So he tries to play out all his cards in a turn and
Makes
to prevent
sense.
arsenaling.
makes sense. Alright, so Keith is full on blocking here. I think at this point he's just hoping that maybe Tim tries to take an off turn or
Yes.
bricks somehow. Because the life total disparity is 9 to 22. But looks like Timothy's just drawing a lot of. Well, this doesn't really have a lot of go again, I must say. It's
Yeah,
hand.
this is not the kind of hand that you want to see in the Syndra. Let's see if he can, get out of it with the ancestral empowerment.
Yes, draw his way out of it.
Draw his way out of it.
Find another card. But he does have the blue, so he probably just gets the daggers back again. Or he can actually just play the blue, draw another card.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have that go again. Because there's a
Yes.
snatch, right?
Yes.
That's
He
a
needs to
snatch.
go again. So let's
So-
see how Tim sequences this.
This might be a good breathing room for Keith here.
Yeah. Tim might not actually be able to present lethal. Okay, but starting off by pitching, sending the dagger for 1.
So in most Puffin games that I know of, usually, the Puffin player have quite a few key turns.
Yeah.
So I know some of the Puffin lanes, they run like Crown Dominion, which give the excess goal, which you can
Straight away, crack.
crack it to
Get
get
a
a
cog,
golden cock,
yes.
and also the parrot,
Yes, cranker.
cranker to polycranker,
Polycranker.
polycranker to have that
I mean, guarantee you activate Puffin and you do the poly thing, you actually just
actually
draw
draw
a
a
card
card. Yes.
just from that. Yeah.
So Keith haven't really deploy his polycranker out yet.
yes.
So usually
yes.
there's like the bigger turn.
Yes. That is a sunken treasure.
Yeah.
though.
Unfortunately, Keith is blocking here.
Yeah. Does he not have a yellow though? He does have a yellow brand, I believe.
I think he have a
Yeah.
yellow
Okay.
brand, but he can also target himself.
Ye-
I think
oh,
he have a
yeah.
lone shark in his
Yes,
graveyard
yes,
that
yes.
he can
He can, yeah,
turn it
turn it
around
down, get a goal.
to get a goal. Yes.
Yeah. So with this now, I think we saw the loan shark. We're seeing this now. So he's trying to get gold somehow in order to get Puffin online, play the Polycranker turn, and maybe those are his bigger turns.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't quite seen that yet, but Tunic is on 3, which means more things are possible. And it looks like Timothy's turn is just going to end after this Hunt the Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah, so pitching away the Throw Dagger and the Snatch. And let's see if Keith looks like he's tempted to take this damage.
Mm. But yeah, that's not really. I mean,
Well,
but it's still
Super,
Super is still a pretty good card in Puffin,
yes,
that-
Super Blue here, I think, blocking for 4.
blocking for 4. Yes.
Yeah, still gonna leak 1, and looks like the dagger has been flicked as well. So leaking 2, Keith down to 7, playing 22, and we saw a Palantir in hand.
Yes.
I think
I think Palantir is one of the key cards in this matchup because it always forces a armor block, and once you either get rid of the flick knife, you're actually open to be able to fatigue
Yep.
the Synindra.
All right, so here we are going to do that thing, cracking the gold with Puffin, playing Polycranker, drawing a card, hoping to find a way back into this game.
Yes.
Because otherwise, Timothy has a 5-card hand to play with.
Yep.
All right, Tunic, getting a resource, pitching Palantir, sending CNC. Is that it? Looks like that's all he can do. Does that mean he probably drew a red?
Yeah, I think he drew a red.
Yeah.
I think he was looking for a blue here.
Yes. And Timothy immediately just taking the 6, getting rid of the Ancestral Empowerment in Arsenal. But Polycranker is out. Is that a must kill at this stage of the game? Probably not, right?
Probably not, but it's just 1 damage, and you actually have a weapon that deals 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not really should on. It's just a why not.
It's
you
a
know?
low opportunity cost.
Yeah, it's a low opportunity cost
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of target. Yeah. I think Keith is trying to plead, Timothy, don't hit my bird.
Don't kill my bird.
Don't kill my bird.
Yeah, it's good to see the players having fun here.
Oh, it's targeting a bird. Oh, no.
Sending it straight to the bird.
Keep saying no. The bird is actually blocking your dagger.
Yeah. Well, it soaks up 1 damage, right?
Yeah.
And hot on the heels here, gonna eat up a block. Is that a last ditch effort?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So this is a
It's-
fatigue focused Puffin.
yes.
I see.
It's functioned like a dash IO. Sorry, dash IE.
Dash IE.
But there's that this surprise factor where you thought that, hey, maybe he's playing some kind of aggressive game plan, so that it sort of confuses the opponent to board in a different way.
Yeah, it has that similar hybrid quality
Yeah.
as Dash IE, right? So opponents don't really know which version you're playing.
Yeah, and the offensive capability of this deck is also can be quite surprising too.
I mean, we're seeing like Dovetail here, so you still can do like Cork, Dovetail go again into Palantir,
Yep.
like just for pure damage. Like the numbers are still decent. All right, so Kunai, and then we have
A
Breaking
breaking point.
for 5.
5.
That is 100% of Keith's life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith have to throw the tunic here
Yeah.
with the soup out to block to cover the 5 damage.
Super, man. I really like Super.
Yeah.
Like the red one especially, like you attack for 4 or you block for 4. Either way, it's still good value.
It's still good value.
Yeah.
Especially in Puffin where you probably will have like a cork left behind after the turn. Yep.
Oh. Okay, so
Oh, it's
there we
the
go.
third Palantir that he actually drew.
Yes.
That was unfortunate. But this Palantir is actually really good because team now have to choose between like the Master Momentum or Flick Knife. But at 5 life, at Keith being at 5 life, I do not think the Master Momentum will get much value.
Yeah.
So I think team will just
Throw the
throw the mask in front of it. But that being said, if Keith managed to find his third Palantir,
Which
okay,
pitched.
which is pitch.
Yeah.
Both hit pitch down, yeah.
Yes.
Can Puffin shuffle the deck?
Not,
There's no Spark of
I
Deus.
don't believe that they can.
Yeah,
no.
maybe if the game lasted long.
Yeah.
Or he have a T but
Oh, wait. Hang on. Let's pause the game quickly. Can you just check with the judge? We're gonna make sure the Palantir gets an equipment.
Getting equipment.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the card is in Japanese.
Oh yes.
It is a new card as well. So we're gonna monitor the game, make sure that they fix it. But so far, the game honestly has been quite one way,
Quite one way. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Fortunate.
Yeah, I was quite excited to see our highly ranked Puffin. And we saw him crush his way through the draft. We didn't see him at CC because he declined to be on stream.
Yeah.
But besides this Puffin, okay. So judge has ruled it as a missed trigger,
Okay.
which is unfortunate there by Keith.
Mm. I
But
think.
like you said, maybe you just throw Mars there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna continue. Tim here with the Art of Dragon Blood. Keith. Keith is going through a crisis right now.
Yeah. I think one of the strength of this Puffin build is that she actually run deceptively quite a few 4 blocks. Like the Super Alps, the D-Rex. So it's actually able, and the second treasure is also able a way to flip the dagger face down like what Keith did.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yep.
So it basically Tim is just playing with one kunai right now,
Mm.
but going to attack with the Spreading Flames. One of the power cards. And this is a Blaze Headlong.
For
It's
4.
just gonna be 4. So the draconic attacks only get +1 if if its power is less than the number of chain links, which I believe this one should be, right? So it's
This
equal.
is not
Yeah,
a
yeah,
draconic card. Yeah.
Okay, not the draconic card. But yeah, 4 and blocking for 3, you're gonna leak 1.
Yep.
Keep going down to
To 2.
2 after the flick.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Very dire right now. Shooting the pistol here.
I think right now Keith is looking for some life gain effects,
Does
just so
he
that
have any?
he can sponge the bleeding from the flick knives.
But does he have? We haven't seen a sigil yet.
Yeah, we have not seen a sigil yet from Keith's side.
And Tim looks like a pretty.
A pretty straightforward hand.
yes, yes.
0 for 4 into 0 for 4
Oh
into
no, but
0
he
for
doesn't
4.
have a filthy.
Yeah, but he can always arsenal the Fire Fist. Or he choose to play the Fire Fist out now. And arsenal the loaf. Or
Right.
the oath, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he can go with this into another Out of Dragon Blood.
Yep.
Right into a Blaze.
I think he can start. He follow up with a Blaze, long, and then into the Art of Dragon Blood, yes.
Okay, so 3 into 4. Does he have a 4 block here?
It's
He
for,
does not. It's the
Yeah.
Sky Warden.
this for 5, and the last Art of Dragon 5 will be for 4.
The
Oh, wait,
Shelter,
yeah.
leaking 1. It goes down to 1. Is that
Uh,
right? Oh no,
no,
that's for 4.
Art is for 4.
Yeah, that's for 4. Alright, so cleanly blocked it out. Keith smiling as he lives another turn. But can't do much. Does he have life gain effects? That's the question. Can he gain life?
I'm not too sure about this actually.
Alright, so Tim here starting off with the Oath. Does have Ancestral Empowerment in hand, which means that he can't play it this turn. Right?
Yeah, he can't play it because
Yeah.
of oath. Oath prevents
Yeah.
like reactions also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so 2 cards coming out here to block. One is the Conqueror, and Tim's going to follow this up with a yellow Brand into a Rebel for 4. And yeah, I think, Keith is just going to scoop it up. Tim is going to take this one. And honestly, congratulations.
Yeah.
This is why Synindra is currently the best aggro deck. The
Right,
power of
right.
it,
Yeah. I think also heads up to Tim also. I think he played around a lot of the Arsenal disruption, like Conqueror High Seas, CNC. Both
Yes.
time when Keith launched the Arsenal disruption effect, Team's Arsenal was actually empty or it was a card that was irrelevant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I mean, unfortunate about like the missed triggers, and overall, Keith didn't really manage to like snipe the equipment out with the Palantirs. Didn't really manage to disrupt Timothy enough, I would
Yeah.
say.
I think it was also a bit unfortunate that the turns where he needs to draw a blue off Puffin's ability,
Yes.
he drew like the third Palantir instead.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about Puffin, right? You don't know what you're gonna draw. there's no way to know. You're not
Well,
Dash IO.
yeah,
You
not
can't see
that
the
you
top
can't
card.
see the top card.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe a compass will help.
But anyway, for all of you tuning in to the Singapore Nets, this was our round 10. Today is going to be round 10, 11, 12, followed by the cut to top 8.
Yep.
We're going to try and stream as many of the top 8 games as we can, hopefully bringing in at least 2 quarterfinals and then watching the 2 semis and then the finals. But we're also streaming these CC rounds on 2 channels. So if you're watching this on the Super Duper Fab channel, we are also going to stream this on the One Collectibles TCG channel. You can go and click below in the description. You can follow them because we will cut to them for the top 8. So
Yes.
top 8 will only be shown on the One Collectibles TCG channel, whereas the CC rounds are going to be streamed on both channels. So after this, we're hopefully going to see some updated standings. I think there are 2 Dash IOs in the top 10. I hope one of them is going to make top 8 because I do want to see a Dash IO in the top 8. Maybe Keith still has a chance,
Yeah.
right? I think
he does.
X and 3, you still have a chance to get into the top 8. But other than that, let us know also what heroes you want to see.
Yes.
Yeah, right. I think, what would you like to see? There's a Azalea.
Ow. Okay, I'm rooting for Benjamin. I think he's a really good Azalea player in Singapore. I think he won a BH with Azalea before in KL.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's one of those that grasps the concept of Azalea really quickly. Yeah. Actually, I'm excited to see the Kasai player.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah,
one
the
of
one
Kasai.
Kasai. I'm trying to really figure out how to build and play Kasai recent years.
Yeah, yeah. It's been doing quite well.
Yeah, he's been doing quite well. I feel like I always had that feeling that the 80 is not there yet. I think there's some like deck building improvement that still can be done to the deck. Yeah.
Well, we shall see. After this, it's going to be round 11. I think we're going to take a quick 10-15 minute break while the players set up. We still did have a bit of time left on the timer. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Alright, welcome back everybody to round 11 of Singapore Nationals. I'm Irvin and with me is...
Kelvin. And we are very excited to bring the next game to you. Things are heating up. We are getting ever closer to that final top 8 cut. And being featured right now is Gravy versus Prism, which I don't think is a matchup we've seen on stream yet.
Yeah, I think this is the first Prism we've actually put on stream.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, and that is a hero that's been receiving quite a lot of attention ever since Enigma LL. I think a lot of the stranded illusionist players have been trying to learn her, and she's once again resurfaced as one of the potential counters to the Gravy Bones deck.
I think Prism is a very interesting spot because it's always been a polarizing hero, right? You have certain really good matchups, and I think you have pretty bad matchups into other classes like Brute has traditionally been quite bad for Prism. She's also, besides Kano, to my understanding, the hero that starts with the lowest health total in the game.
Yes.
So she's very, very fragile, and she can brick as well with the Figments, which all do not block. And even with Library, it can be a brick as well sometimes, even though it's one of her power cards.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the players decide to enact their macro game plans. This is seen to be Prism favored by some, given that the allies provide essentially a free body to let the heralds hit and to trigger Prism's ability. But we'll see if James has a way around that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, anything that has on-hit abilities has a new different angle of gameplay, right? When you're playing into ally-based decks, being able to guarantee the on-hit is very significant for Prism. But then again, when you're swinging a 7-power herald into the ally, you're essentially not swinging that to his face.
Yeah.
And so you're losing value in that aspect, but you're gaining consistency, you're gaining the ability to play the other parts of your deck. So that's what Gravy can potentially leverage to try and trade out the Prism over the long game. But we'll have to see, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Gravy can run a fair number of poppers. Besides the Conqueror of the High Seas that I think is a staple in Gravy decks, some of them have run cards like Command and Conquer, Sea Legs as well is another potential popper, and even cards like Swiftwater Sloop can be a popper in a pinch if really needed.
Yeah, and I think that there were a few lists like floating around which ran 12 poppers, and I remember they said that the Prism matchup was very easy because of the 12 poppers. If you run the 3 Sea Legs and 3 Sloops on top of all the conquering effects. But we're not sure what James is on here. We've seen him draft a lot yesterday, but now he's going to be playing his main Gravy Bones constructed deck.
And immediately I see something that's very interesting. Instead of the more traditional helmets we've seen before, like Crown of Dominion or even Balance of Justice, we see a Tricon of Saltwater Death.
Yeah, that's the helmet from the Gravy Bones Armory kit, and that's a very interesting inclusion by James here. We'll see how it comes into play.
Yeah, I must say I've never seen that played on stream before, so I'm very excited to see what his game plan for that is.
Yeah, and James looks like going for the turn 0 Golden Tipple.
Yeah.
Takes the Phantasmal Footsteps from Daniel and creates a gold, which is very important, especially when you're not starting with the Crown of Dominion.
We see that he hasn't chosen to try and recall the chum from the grave here, maybe because he wants to not present a body that's easy for Daniel to clear. This is quite a premium ally in the matchup. It does die to most heralds in the deck, but forcing the Prism player to send a meaty attack at this chum is quite a good way to preserve your life total here.
Yeah, and it's particularly important in the late game. We're perhaps not so much in the early game when I think probably Daniel wants to be sending the heralds into allies anyway. But we'll see whether James might consider it something he would like to play.
Wow, and we see that he's activated Gravy Bones to put another chum in the graveyard, and he's now blocked with the Tricon and put another ally in the graveyard. So he's he's doing pretty well in terms of allies in the graveyard already, which is something that Gravy Bones can sometimes struggle with if you don't have either gold or you don't get that Golden Tipple train rolling early.
Yeah, and it does seem a bit unfortunate that right after James blocks with his Tricon, the Herald of Erudition comes out, and this is going to be 5 Dominate. On hit, it would fetch a Figment, and would also allow Daniel to have 2 cards to park in Arsenal for next turn.
Right, we see that he chooses to take the Herald here, perhaps realizing that, he can't block it out.
Yeah, and this allows Daniel to actually fetch another Figment that would not be Erudition, because the Figment of Erudition can serve as a very useful ponder, but given that he already has an Arsenal target, he might be picking like the War, which he did, yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
think Figment of War is a good ally to kind of have to swing and clear the Gravy's allies. It's not too committal. You're not giving your power allies like Herald of Erudition. Sorry, not Herald of Erudition. Soraya.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're not even cards like the Figment of Protection, which is in his pitch zone right now, can serve to block out breakpoints in a pinch if
Yeah.
needed.
And I think generally Prisms do pick the Figment of War as their first Figment, simply because the Courage token allows you to continuously bump your next Herald attacks, and hitting with your Heralds early game is very important to set up your board. So it's generally this one or some of the Figments that don't have late game relevance, so maybe the Protection, or maybe in this case even the one that flips the Banish zone down, Judgment.
Right. Okay, we see that James has played a pot side exchange here and put a Sawbones in the graveyard. And he's activated Dead Threats to play a Chum, activate Gold Baited Hook and swing with it, which threatens another gold. And Daniel takes it, giving James his second gold.
Alright, very interesting here. So the funny thing about Chum here is that if Daniel wants to hit the Chum, he's gonna, like, in a way waste the Courage token if it's going into Chum. But we'll see whether he wants to just still go face.
This is a 2 for 8 here.
Yep.
And with a relevant on hit as well. That is very, very strong.
Yeah, one of the stronger on hits in the Prism deck, because getting the random Spectral Shield can be very important to protecting your 4-ward Angels. And if James ever finds like a Limpet to try and push through damage, or a blue Golden Tipple, the Spectral Shield can soak that up before the Angel blocks one with 4 ward.
I think one thing to note about these 1 HP allies is that a very neat trick Prism can do is activate the Halo of Illumination and tutor, I think it's Herald of Ravages, which pings 1 arcane to any target. And much like Icelander and Droma in the past, if you activate a card like Singe into an attacking Ashwing, the Ashwing dies and the action point goes into the void. So you kind of end the turn right there. It is a heavy committal play because you crack Halo, which is probably one of the strongest pieces of equipment on Prism side. But if you strand the Gravy Bones with like 2 or 3 cards, force him to effectively give himself an intellect penalty, it can be worth it.
Yeah, the Halo, yeah, it is the most important piece in the Prism deck. And I think Prism players, at least when I was playing the deck, people have mentioned that the Halo has to at least generate 8 points of value for it to be a good Halo.
8 points of value off a hit piece, I would say.
Yeah,
Is pretty
good, pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so looks like James has taken the full 8 here, allowing Daniel to now tutor a Figment out. And looks like
he's chosen the Erudition here.
Yep. So the question is he gonna flip the Erudition now? Generally, to flip the Figment of Erudition, you need to have 2 in Soul, because you have to do 1 for the flip and then immediately swing with it to get the full value of the draw 2 of Soraya. And he's opting not to do that.
What do you think the choice of Rapture, Empyrean Rapture, as Daniel's chess piece over Vestige of Soul tells us?
I mean, it does seem that the Rapture would indicate he's going for a more aggressive plan. And we did see that from the red Herald of Protection. I think if you're running the Vestige, you generally cut down as many reds as possible so that you don't break off like your draw turns to kind of set up your Spectras on board. And I guess it really is capitalizing on Gravy Bones' lack of block value, if you would say, and potentially being able to rush him down.
Would you say that that means he's cut out a lot of the auras we traditionally see in his deck? Maybe some of the cards like, Merciful Retribution, Parable of Humility, which I guess wouldn't make that much sense against ally attacks, right?
Yeah, it wouldn't, and also by playing a bit slower, you are giving Gravy Bones time to develop. I think I have heard some Prism players think that is the way, because the Spectras do gain a lot of value and Gravy is already action point starved. But there's also another camp that says, just hit them with the Heralds and eventually they die faster. without
Yeah.
having time.
I mean, he already is at 23 life. He's actually falling pretty low. And it seems like he's activated Gravy here to try and dig and putting a loot the hold in Arsenal. But he's drawing to a Conqueror, which is used to pop the red Herald protection there. Very interesting.
I see. Did he draw the Conqueror?
I think he may have he may have drawn the Conqueror.
Oh.
Okay, we see him pitching a pot side to play a yellow golden tipple here, putting an Anka in the grave. I think Anka is quite interesting in this case because we see a Figment of Erudition already on board, right? So if Daniel decides to use the ability of the ally, Anka can actually trigger to kind of force Daniel to drop one of the cards he's drawn.
Yeah.
And I think one thing to point out is that Daniel actually only has one soul.
Yes.
He only has one card in soul, so he is a bit short on soul here. If he awakens the ally and attacks with it, there is the possibility.
And Murderous Rebel for one.
Flipping an E-strike.
Yeah,
That is unfortunate.
That Spectral Shield come in very handy here because protecting the Angel of War. Very unfortunate, and looks like James is stuck with a Sunken Treasure in hand. Sunken Treasure, a very strong card because it's able to, potentially deny some graveyard interaction for your opponent, generate you a gold. But it is a block card. It cannot be arsenal. I have done that several times when they first released in the past. So he's kind of forced to try and find something here, which is the E-strike.
Okay, so he's drawn off the goal and drawn the E-strike, and he's used the remaining float to play a Sawbones and swing, which does threaten the Angel here. And I think that the choice of E-strike here is quite interesting. I am partial to E-strike myself in my Gravy Bones list, and to me it indicates that it's a more aggressive slanted Gravy potentially. And he could be running cards like Sloop, we don't know. We'll see if he has those in his list. But yeah, it seems like he's fairly red heavy. If he runs E-strike, there's also the chance of me running cards like CNC as well.
Yeah, which would definitely help a lot in this matchup. And E-strike by itself, right? It's one of the tech cards that Gravy Bones runs in order to kind of extend the chain link. Given that if you don't run the E-strike, your go again cards are just the Rainbow Tipples and maybe a Limpid.
I think this is actually one of the ideal boards for Gravy Bones to have. Sawbones and Chum together is quite a fearsome combo. You can force your opponent to attack the Chum, and the existence of Sawbones basically means that they have to send a 7 power attack into the Chum to kill it, instead of just a 6 power. And if you do that to the Chum, it means you're leaving the Sawbones untouched.
Yeah, always a very deadly combination, these two.
Correct. We see that he lets the Angel eat the attack from Sawbones here, which should chip 2 over to Daniel.
Yeah, and giving James the extra gold of the gold-baited hook, a free activation because he golden tippled this turn, so even if it doesn't hit, the hook is not going to blow up.
I think the choice of Mage Master Boots from James is quite interesting. One issue that Gravy kind of has is that his armor suite is not the most robust. He has 1 block in the hook typically. You don't really want to block with dead threats until you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
And he did have a Tricon, which is a 2 block, but it's Blade Break. And typically what we see some Gravies run is quick dodge flexes if they really want to convert a non-blocking ally in their hand into some extra block value.
Yeah.
But he chooses Mage Master Boots here, which indicates to me that either one, he only has Mage Master Boots in his equipment slot, or he's considering double or triple allying the Prism at some point in time.
Yeah, and Prism can only technically clear 2 allies. She can clear 3 if she flips a Figment, but that's a lot of resources used to actually not deal any damage.
Yes.
And here we see a pretty good hand on James's side.
He activates the Chum here in response to the red Wartune Herald, which I assume is going to James's face.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about activating Chum here is that if Daniel chooses to flip a Figment here and swing with the Angel has to go into Chum, and the Angel does not have enough power to kill Chum.
Right, so it's kind of wasted in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and we see James has tapped Sawbones here for the 1 damage prevention.
Yeah, that's a very interesting time to tap the Sawbones.
Yeah, that's interesting.
His hand is filled with the blue cards, I think.
I think I saw Give No Quarter, Tip the Barkeep, and I can't see the last card in his hand, but it is a card that will let him play allies from the graveyard, for sure.
Yeah.
given it's quite resource rich.
And now Daniel gonna go digging into his deck again. That hit actually helped him get 2 soul. So once again makes the erudition line possible, but because Charm is tapped, that becomes a lot more inefficient.
I think it's an interesting choice to tap Sawbones here because now you've prevented the damage going to face, but a 6 power Herald will be able to kill the Chum cleanly here.
Yeah, I think perhaps he thinks Daniel is just gonna send a Herald into Chum, making the Sawbones prevention kind of useless. So
He's choosing to save the life here.
yeah,
maybe.
he's just choosing to save the life, depending on how Daniel plays. But it does open the possibility for Daniel to now use a yellow Herald to hit Chum, rather than forcing Daniel to find a red Herald. Because if he had Sawbones up and a yellow Herald would swing into Chum, he could Sawbones and push the yellow Herald back to 5.
Ah, interesting. He uses the Figment of Ravages here to ping the Chum for 1, and then come in with a blue Herald of Ravages to finish off the Chum.
Yeah, so yeah, see, in this situation, the Sawbones would have been quite helpful.
It would have been quite helpful in that situation. That's
Yeah.
quite unfortunate for James. I think one thing this means is that he no longer has the ability to tutor the Figment of Ravages to kill a one health ally that's attacking. So Rigor
Yeah.
Mortis, Limpet, those are quite safe for James to attack with now, if he so wishes to.
Yeah, so he's free to now bring back the Rigor Mortis that I think is sitting in his graveyard.
Yeah, he's quite free to do that.
Yeah, and it's very important to, even if you're not a Prism player, right, to understand what they can do with the Halo. Because the Halo offers so many lines, and the Ravages line is a very, very bad line, very horrible for you if you're going to be attacking with the allies. Kind of shuts off a lot of your ways to go wide. And so now that this is unlocked, James might be able to be a bit less cautious of the allies he plays.
So he already has the Figment of Erudition on board and the Figment of Ravages on board. What do you think the Halo is likely gonna use? What do you think he's gonna use the Halo to tutor for? Most likely.
I think now it may not be a more of a tutor, but more of a way to get more cards in Soul, given that a lot of the very important Figments are already on board. It could also be a way to thin out the deck of Figments in the future, if he wants to use the Erudition on the Erudition turn, so he doesn't draw into the Figments.
That makes sense.
Yeah, alternatively, it could also be a Figment of Rebirth to pick up the very strong Herald of Erudition from the graveyard.
You see a Give No Quarter here used to summon the Swabby, and he's used the Mage Master Boots to double ally with a Chum and a Swabby here.
Yeah, the Mage Master Boots always a very good combination with Give No Quarter. I think when Give No Quarter was first released, everyone was so shocked at the fact that it essentially pitched for 6.
Yeah.
But in practice, it's a lot harder to do when, Gravy Bones doesn't have enough action points. So without playing the Mage Master Boots, Give No Quarter allows you to play 2 allies and your turn ends. But with the Mage Master Boots, you can play 2 allies and then swing with one of
Yeah.
them.
And his board is actually looking pretty fearsome right now. He's got Chum, Swabby, and Sawbones, which are, I would say, some of the more premium allies from
Yeah.
Gravy Bones.
3 of the big boys in the
Yeah.
on Gravy's crew. But on Daniel's side, we have 3 Figments, 3 very strong angels ready to be awakened.
Yeah, this is looking scary for James actually.
Yeah, the fact that Daniel is above James's life total
Yeah.
and still has access to Halo is a bit dangerous. But James having 16 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2 actually means that he has a lot more life than we perceive it to be.
Do you think there's a point where Daniel just says, I don't care about the allies, let me just go at your face with my 8 power, 7 power heralds?
Oh yes, definitely. But before he does that, he has to clear Chum. Because Chum
Right.
is the only thing that stops him from potentially just smacking James in the face.
Yep, he's chosen to do that. He's tutoring for his last Figment, I imagine? Or has he missed the tutor trigger? Or resolving the
Yeah.
Ravager's ping.
Oh yes, the
Ah,
one.
there you go. Okay. Pinging James for additional 1 arcane damage here. And he's tutoring for the Figment now.
So he should only have Rebirth left. Yep. And just gonna put the Herald of Erudition into his top of his deck, I believe.
How many has he played already? He's played 5, and I think there's tomorrow there's like Triumph as well.
Oh yes, there's still Triumph, which
Yeah.
is another Halo interaction, right?
Yeah, I forget the last Herald. I've been punished by this before. I've in rated games I think I was playing a Prism at a calling, and I thought he had all his allies out. He did not. He still had, and I let Heralds hit because I thought there was nothing else he could tutor for, and I was proven wrong.
Yeah, he picks up the deck, then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
whoops.
Oh crap. He actually has all 7.
Yeah, so he probably still has Triumph left, and he might have Judgment if he runs
Yeah.
that one.
I guess Judgment is less important against Gravy, right? Because he plays in
Yeah.
the graveyard, not for the banish.
It would just be another ally on the board if you want to run the Density of Angels.
I forget the name of this, the Arcane Angel, but
Second.
But actually, the split damage is quite dangerous against Gravy Bones because
Yes.
you can send the Arcane at allies and the attack at either face or another ally as well.
Yeah, so Angels, although they're not able to clear things like Chum or Whaler Humperdinck, they are able to clear any other ally, and Second here can actually clear the board of both allies by just hitting like one of them.
He can tap Sawbones to kind of save a little bit of life from the Arcane here.
Oh yes, you're right.
So he could, let's say he swings the second at the Swabby and he sends Arcane and Sawbones. He could theoretically tap the Sawbones to kind of save it for another turn, which would be a nice kind of way at salvaging the board state a little bit.
Oh yes, you're right. So he still does have to choose, making the second flip on the while Sawbones is on the board. It makes Second a lot less powerful, I think. Because yeah, he still has to choose here.
Right, and we see that he is doing that exact play, and James taps the Sawbones to save itself.
Yeah, interesting that Daniel prioritizes killing the
The
Swabby.
allies. Okay.
I mean, Swabby does present a lot more damage. Presents 7 damage, making it a lot harder to block or preserve the Angels if he wanted to.
He does get to keep that Sawbones around for another turn, which is nice. I think one thing that James hasn't been able to present is Conqueror of the High Seas. He's
Yeah.
only blocked a bit to pop, but he hasn't been able to really disrupt Daniel here. Gravy Bones has a surprising amount of disruption available with cards like Loot the Hold, Conqueror, some of them even run Loot the Arsenal.
Yeah, a lot. It's really a first that LSS has printed on-hit effects for allies. The other Illusionists never really had that benefit, but the trade-off is that Gravy doesn't have any Golgan. It's a lot harder to find Golgan
Yeah.
on his allies.
It's a bit more action point style. That's why we see him running cards like Diamond Amulet here, which maybe could have been a hedge against a potential Aura plan.
Yep. And we see the Golden Tipple being swung here. I think, did he discard the Diamond Amulet?
Yes, I think he discarded off Gravy Bones. He's played a
Ah,
Vasi and summoned Rigor Mortis to swing with it for 6, which is one of the more chunky ally attacks available to the deck.
Yeah, and if Second dies here, it's going to be a lot harder for Daniel to clear Rigor Mortis.
Yep. And it looks like he chooses to swing at the second instead of face. Okay, interesting choice.
Yeah, and that's actually a safe play now because before Second or the Figment of Ravagers is tutored out, if you swing at an Angel, he can tutor out the Ravagers with Halo to ping the Angel and end your turn there.
I think this is quite a heads-up play from James because clearing the second here lets him preserve his board. Right now, Rigor Mortis only has 1 health, so if Daniel chose to swing second at Sawbones and send the Arcane to Rigor Mortis, he could clear both allies quite cleanly here.
Yeah.
But he's been hitting James with these huge heralds, 7 from a red Herald of Triumph, which is almost half of James' life total.
Yeah. So you'll see how James is gonna interact with this and potentially block it out.
Oh, blocking with a Sunken Treasure here.
Yeah, so choosing a yellow to flip.
I imagine he chooses one of the Figments here. Yeah, Figment of Ravagers.
It goes to, is that 3 gold? Or 2 gold, 2 gold.
I think now it should be his 3rd gold with the Sunken Treasure block.
That the die he's using is
Yeah, the die he's using is not particularly visible to us, but yeah.
a bit of an optical illusion. I can't tell if it's an 8-sided die or like the two dots on the 6-sided die.
Yeah.
But No
All good.
worries. I'm
This
sure
is-
the players got it.
Yeah, this is cleanly blocked out here. Oh, and we see that Daniel chooses to awaken Soraya here, which is, one of the power plays available to Prism.
Yep, so gonna be swinging at Sawbones, getting rid of that very annoying ally. And now James has no more cards with Watery Grave in his discard pile.
Daniel actually has no more soul as well, which is interesting. He has banished the last card in his soul with the Soraya, and we'll see how he chooses to kind of. I think it's 2 gold.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, David.
Yep, so we see that Daniel actually gambled a bit by drawing 2 blind cards off Soraya. We have to hope those 2 cards is 1 Herald and 1 Pitch card to be swung.
I see a Genesis and I think Triumph.
Oh, those are not cards you want to see.
I think Genesis maybe Figment of either Triumph or
Okay,
it's not definitely not Rebirth.
Right,
Triumph
so-
or Judgment. I think it's Judgment actually. Oh no, it's the it's a new card that gives +4. Warcry of
Warcraft damage.
Yeah, I think it's Warcry of Demis.
All
Which is a
right.
very interesting choice. I have not seen that card
Is it?
run.
Oh, it is.
It is. Wow. Warcry of Demis.
A very interesting that he chose to.
Oh, and he has the
break it.
popper at the perfect time.
Oh, okay.
This is such a clean block because he's not going to be sending the CNC anyway because Daniel has no Arsenal.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate for Daniel. I think he actually cracked Halo because
Yeah.
he drew Warcry and Genesis, right? Meaning
Yeah.
he has no Herald to send.
I think this is a little bit of a break here for James. A clean play, the most disciplined play will probably be to just clear up the Soraya here.
He has to,
He
for
has
sure.
to. He has to. I think this is so dangerous if he lets it live.
Oh, that's a very good popper on the.
That is very fortunate. And he's drawn the Soraya from Dusk to Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Invoke Soraya, is
Yeah,
it?
invoke Soraya. And he's drawn a Figment of Triumph as well. I think these are some very interesting tech choices from Daniel here.
And here we go. James doing my favorite play of the Gravy Bones deck, which is Call to the Grave Oyston. And because Oyston is free to play and free to swing.
This is a little bit of an inside joke here. I think Oyston is awful, but Mervin here disagrees. I think this is one of the maybe 2 differences between our personal Gravy Bones lists. I don't like Oyston because I think it doesn't really do much. Sure, you're attacking for 3 every turn, but
Hey, 0 card 3s
Sure.
are very strong.
yeah, I guess. Sure.
But we'll see, James chose not to play the Oyston this turn, even though he played Call. So potentially preventing Daniel from, I don't know, having 2 targets to swing his Heralds at. Or maybe assuming that Daniel would have a Herald of Ravagers potentially to clear both allies.
I don't think he even minds if Herald. I haven't seen this in.
It is a card that allows you to heal back your health, to my understanding, and I kind of forgot how much it costs. You have to transform a Spectral Shield though.
Which he does, conveniently. He conveniently has 1 Spectral Shield on the board. But let's see if he wants to make that play here. It is a body which can be hit, so James could use his own allies to clear up that Soraya if he so wishes.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
Daniel's really giving it a think here. He knows he's going to be pitching the Figment for sure.
Wow, and it seems like he's thinking of sending the Herald of Protection.
James ready to
blue.
throw away the Rigor Mortis already. He's already reaching for it to toss
Yeah.
it away.
This is so good though. The Rigor Mortis effectively gave him an additional 6 value here.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I think additional 4 value here, because it's way overkill by about 4 health.
Yeah, man, it looks like Daniel fails his search, so no Figment of Judgment in his deck. Only the Figment of Triumph left. And that actually kind of starves the Prism towards the late game, especially if James is able to draw poppers now.
Yeah, we see that he has, I think, pop with 2 cards. So at the very least, he probably has another 4 poppers in the deck. Maybe 5, 6 if he runs a few copies of Sea Legs, which could be quite devastating for Daniel if he runs into them at the wrong time.
Yeah. So here we go. Daniel's going to be flipping the Angel of Protection.
Giving himself more Spectral Shields to turn into Soraya.
Yes. And now he has, I think, 4 Spectral Shields if he swings here.
I think he's got no soul though.
I know, he
just removed it. Ah,
removed
okay,
it,
okay.
Yeah.
4 Spectral Shields is quite a healthy life buffer here.
Effectively at 28 life, Daniel.
Yeah. James doesn't seem too happy with what's on the top of the deck.
Yep. But he has the Diamond Amulet on board. I think that's a very important piece and allows Gravy to do very ridiculous turns. The main issue now for James is also he doesn't have any allies in graveyard.
Except the one Oyston.
Yes, although it is one of the best allies in the deck. He has to find a way to kind of assemble a larger army to win here.
We see a CNC, Anka, Golden Tipple, missed the color.
Alright, tossing the Anka into the graveyard.
Anka is somewhat less important now that, the Figment is gone.
Yeah, I mean, he still could, like what you said, rebirth the Erudition. So, not completely irrelevant.
Okay, we see he just chose to activate Gravy here and discard the Anka. Which I think is an interesting play considering that... Oh, I see why he did that. Yeah, he was a bit ally flooded there. Discarding a Whaler Humperdinck.
Yes, Whaler Humperdinck, the biggest ally in the Gravy Bones deck, 11 damage. Something not easy for Prism to block out.
We see Daniel blocking the Golden Tipple here, wanting to preserve some of that health buffer. Seems like the game next to them has wrapped up already.
Yes.
Which I think was Synindra against Auxilio, our backup game of the day.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a very fast game compared to 2 board state heroes. And we'll say James gonna go for the E-Strike flexibility, straight away hitting the Angel of Protection with Go Again. Yeah, a very interesting play that you can do. I think most people forget that the Angels are allies as well. So the 4 Spectral Shields not protecting. And here we go, James gonna resurrect the Anka and breaks the Diamond Amulet, so he has 2 action points here. And here we go, Oyston is on the field.
Actually, something interesting you could have done is also, if you have a Gold Kiss run, for example, you can draw off the E-Strike. So that's a little bit of flexibility there from the E-Strike, which you might not normally have in these heroes.
Yeah, and we can also see a lead the charge pitched. And so another reason why Prisms perhaps don't run the Vestige build into Gravy, because if they run lead the charge, you'll be clearing 2 Spectras pretty easily.
I personally enjoy lead the charge a lot in my Gravy deck. I think it's very flexible. The one drawback is that it needs to be paired with an ally that's cost score greater. And you do have a fair number of low to the ground allies like Rigor Mortis, Limpet, Oyston. But if you have, Sawbones and Chum, and you can even swing with them if you have lead the charge here.
Alright, so Daniel trying to decide on the Anka block. His hand, 2 Heralds, 1 Triumph, 1 War Tune, and 1 Blue Spectra. So is he gonna try and deny James of... I mean, he will deny James of the gold because of the immense amount of Spectral Shields on his board. But now, the board states have radically shifted. Now James has 2 allies on the field while Daniel has none.
I think he could be he invokes Soraya here.
Alright, invoking Soraya now.
I have not seen this card in a good amount of time.
Yeah, recently making its rounds back into the game. It is to my understanding, 2 cost to swing. And when you swing it, you can regenerate, banish a light card from your soul.
Do you want Arcane? And 1 Arcane is, Oyston's life. One reason why it's a liability. I'm kidding. Gives him the gold here, and it's honestly not that bad. But it does let James heal a good amount of life here because whenever Soraya deals damage, and I think that includes Arcane as well and physical, he gains that much health.
Yeah, but if you look on the board, Oixen is still alive because he has to discard a card from Soul to do the ping.
Which he does not have.
Yeah, he does not have, and it is very difficult, right? Because for Gravy, you're balancing an additional resource of cards in your graveyard, and for Prism, you're balancing cards in your Soul. So when you're trying to play this matchup, you have to look at like everywhere on the board.
Okay, we see an Avasti here, and it's coming in for 6 go again.
Yeah, straight into Soraya.
And he immediately goes to the Soraya. That goes away.
Yep, and with the go again, that actually allows James to extend his turn. So let's see what he's gonna follow up with. A
Just
Murderous
Rebel.
Ram.
And he flips a blue this time.
This
thankfully.
time for 3.
Yep. Not for.
And check that out, Oixen gonna get the free 3 value that Oixen often brings to people who believe in him.
Do you think Gravy often brings defense reactions into this matchup, or do you think they are potentially a liability?
They are a liability because in any Illusionist or Ally Mirror, you don't want to be drawing D-Reacts, especially if you have the Tempo, or if you need to clear the opponent's allies. But the thing is, Blood in the Water, which is the Necromancer defense reaction, allows you to potentially block for 6 with 1 card. And that's actually quite significant into preventing the Heralds from hitting, at least the yellow ones. So it really is about personal preference, and also I think that particular question hasn't really been solved yet, and still up for debate.
Yeah, agreed. Coming in with a blue War-Tune Herald here, one of the more efficient Herald attacks.
Yeah, but it being blue makes it a bit easier for James to block. And by completely now that Daniel is back to Prism's starting state, right, which is having no soul, and without the halo of illumination, he is unable to guarantee any soul being put into the being generated. And so James might use this opportunity to block out. And as we can see right here, he has used Blood in the Water to block for 6. Precisely what we were talking about.
Yeah, I do think this is pretty.
Okay.
Wow, and he
the
pops
CNC
it. That's so
pops.
efficient, and I think with that, James has stolen back a bit of the tempo of this game here. He has stuffed Daniel's attempts to get soul, but we see a Light of Soul in his hand, which is a way to get soul uninteractably, potentially.
Yeah,
If
and
he hits a yellow herald off the top, maybe.
yeah, you're right. So that's one way he could do it. Another way he could do it is through Herald of Second. Is it Herald of Second?
Yeah, herald second.
Which guarantees you to put a card in the soul to deal 2 arcane damage, which is very important in this matchup because you can ping the allies with the arcane damage.
Yeah, we'll see what James wants to do here with his 2-card hand.
Yep,
And it looks like he's just pitching a Call to the Grave to swing a Rigor Mortis, which Daniel immediately takes. There's nothing on his board to protect.
Yep, so
We'll see
very
if this hits
effective
here.
turn cycle.
Alright.
Yep.
Oh, and it misses. It's a blue
Unfortunate.
War-Tune Herald. That's very unfortunate. And this is popped even through the Herald of Triumph debuff.
Yeah, exactly what we were mentioning earlier, right? Because towards the end of the game, if you're not seeing your poppers early game, and you draw them late game when Daniel no longer has access to the halo, the poppers become a lot more threatening to the Prism.
Do you think fatigue is a potential out for Daniel here? We can see that, James' deck still has a fair amount of cards, but there is a real chance that you can run the graveyard of allies sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it always is an option to fatigue Gravy, but the thing is, James has a Whaler Humperdinck, which is the ally that tries to counter the fatigue strategy already in his graveyard.
Okay.
And towards the end of the game, the Gravy deck gets a lot more heavy on blues, and does allow you to effectively play the Whaler out more consistently.
Oh, and we see a Loot the Hold here, which is one of the premium disruptive cards from Gravy.
Yeah,
And this lets, what this is that on your next pirate ally gets on hit, discard 1 card and make a gold for yourself. Oh, and he ALS's immediately. Okay. If he started the Diamond Amulet here, I don't think that play would have been available to him for sure.
Yeah, so that's why, the presence of the Diamond Amulet kind of stops Prism from ever attempting the ALS play. So it's something on the Prism side you have to watch out for.
James's board is growing pretty scary. A single Avasti could potentially unlock this entire hand and make him swing in for like 12 easily.
Yep, and Daniel opting for the
Oh, he has
6
another
damage.
Conqueror in hand. I think this is the last one though. Yeah, he should be able to cleanly
Okay.
pop this, and I think this could be quite a wide turn here from James. He now has a 4-card hand with 3 allies to swing face,
Yeah, and gonna be
tip the
tipping.
barkeep.
Yeah, getting the Gold Kiss Rum, a very important card for the late game here, allows you to swing 2 Rigor Mortises with the go again if he cracks the Gold Kiss Rum. But before that, a natural go again from Golden Tipple.
Coming for 3, he doesn't discard a card here, so he doesn't get the gold, but it is still, well, 3 damages. Go again is not that easy for Gravy to get.
Yeah, and now we see a minimum of 15 damage on this turn. That's already higher than Daniel's life total.
Right, chooses to block with a blue Herald of Protection here, and
yep.
he uses the Gold Kiss Rum. I think the last card in hand is an E-Strike actually, so he might just save that in Arsenal.
Oh, that's a very good card as
That
well
is
for
a very flexible card here. It's an extender. It can just be a clean 3 for 7. 2 card 7, sorry.
now.
If he wants to use it. This is not presenting lethal to Daniel, but I think falling to 1 potentially here is quite a big ask.
It's not presenting lethal, but in ally matchups, when you hit your opponent and they give 4 cards, that's essentially lethal because your allies are already left on board.
Right, and they're staying on board. You're continuing to accrue value from them.
Yeah, so Daniel has to keep a minimum of 2 cards. And that's the issue with Prism into Gravy, because while other classes can kind of rely on their weapon to hit low to the ground allies like Rigor Mortis, Prism doesn't have a weapon and has to swing Heralds in order to clear the allies.
Can I just say that I'm so happy that James is one of my
Yeah,
fantasy picks right now.
Yeah, I see
I'm
you
extremely
smiling through
happy.
the game
Yeah.
because he's winning so much.
I mean, it's not over yet. I would say. What do you think was the turning point in this game? Really, do you think it was the point where Daniel drew the unfortunate? I think it was a Genesis and Warcry of the
Yes,
Soraya?
I think so.
I think that was extremely unfortunate. He was probably digging for a Herald there to kind of finish that chain off.
Yeah, that Halo activation did not meet the requirements of 8 value. But because you see, right, he did have a few Heralds popped in the later turns.
Yeah, I think that was super devastating for him as well. The
Yeah.
poppers came at the perfect time for James.
Yeah, so the Halo could have actually saved one of them if he had tutored out the Triumph on the pop.
Right.
So that's one option that could have happened. But then that was a judgment call by Daniel because he wanted to pressure a bit more with the Herald on that turn. And that was the big turn, right? I think that was the Soraya Erudition turn, which is a very important turn for Prism. But that was very unfortunate that even though he dug so much to find the Herald, James had the popper that turn.
Yeah. He had a
And-
perfect answer here.
When you pop, it really stifles the Prisms, and not only Prism, right? Every Illusionist.
It looks like he has one more CNC in deck, potentially.
Yeah, so Daniel...
Which Daniel's thinking. He's drawn the Warcry of Demis again here.
Herald of Protection, so I think he's considering whether he wants to flip the Figment of Rebirth, buffing it with the Demis, or is he just going to swing the Herald?
Yeah, I think Fatigue might not be an option here, given James' deck still looks pretty thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the 1 health allies I think are so annoying to clear with Heralds. Ideally, you want to be swinging them with Angels instead, but he's only got the Rebirth left here.
Ideally, you would like to ping them with, you know, your pings from the Herald of Ravagers or the Angel of Ravage. But those are already gone. We don't know how many Herald of Ravagers Daniel still has, but they're not in his hand. And seems to be opting for the flip instead.
Is that a hard flip?
Yeah, looks like
it's
a hard flip.
Swinging on the
Okay.
Rigor Mortis, pitching the Warcry of Demis here, but he has no soul to activate the ability of Avalon here.
Yeah, and that's the issue, right? And E-Strike.
The E-Strike cleans it up
Yeah.
nicely. I think that's the second last Figment in Daniel's deck here.
I think that is the last already. I don't think he
Was
has the
there
Figment
a-
of Judgment.
I think it was a Figment of Triumph. Was it? I think it
Oh,
was
did
pitched.
he?
Yeah, I think I
Oh,
saw a
okay,
Figment
okay,
of
still
Triumph
has it.
pitched. Merges Rebel. It flips a blue this time.
Yep, 3. We can take a look at.
Oh,
Now
the
he
Herald
draws
of
the Herald of Secum. That would have been very useful last turn. Oh, but the Herald of Secum does require you to keep 3 cards in hand. So it's not as useful in the late game.
I think it's quite difficult to use it here when you've already effectively, you know, gone through most of your figments.
Yep, and Call to the Grave, picking up Sawbones, and that's also a very important card, stopping the Arcane Pings we were just talking about.
I imagine the last card in hand is probably a blue, and he's gonna summon the Sawbones to swing with it for a nice 6.
Oh, here
Yep,
we go.
There we go with the
With the
threats.
threats.
Yeah, this is a strong board from James here.
Yeah, and Daniel gonna enter his turn with 2 cards in hand. We know he arsenaled the Herald, straight into Sawbones, putting into Soul.
And he searches for... Oh, he doesn't
Oh,
search
yeah.
for the last figment, yeah. Okay. Right.
Alright, moving over to James's turn.
He still has a little Oyston that could on his field there, which could always be the final swing.
Yeah.
We see
ver-
the Vast Yi, which is a premium extender for Gravy there.
Yeah, the thing is that he doesn't have any damage on board, apart from the Oyston, because his hand has no attacks. And he doesn't have enough to play out the Humperdinck, I think. So he just creates the Gold Kiss Rum.
Which, yeah, is pretty good setup for next turn, but I think I saw Golden Tipple and a blue in hand, which could just be, you know,
Yeah.
Tipple into Oyston, which is a
And
still lethal.
yeah, look at the Oyston swinging for lethal here. A very, very strong ally, often
Wow.
overlooked by
I might-
many.
Yeah, I might have to consider Oyston for my deck after this.
You see, blocking with the passing Mirage. And Oyston
Yeah,
for
coming in
3.
for 3. I think he's drawn Warcry of Themis several times this game already,
Yeah.
which he just hasn't had the space to use, really. Hasn't really lined up for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, so actually he might be considering taking the Oyston damage so that he can play the Herald of Secum, which requires 3 cards to play. Alternatively, he could just block with the Herald of Secum and swing the Herald of Triumph.
Herald II will be a clean way to kill the Oyston here for him, if he chooses an Arcane at the Oyston and damage at face.
Yeah, so he's picking up his Spectral Shield tokens to kind of fiddle with as he makes this very important decision. And you see how Oyston really puts your opponents into these thinking positions. With really making your opponent consider, how is he going to clear this crazy ally on board.
Sure, Oyston has worked out for him in this game.
I think Oyston often works out for everybody. But here we go, Daniel choosing to take the damage and swinging the Herald of Secum to guarantee the kill on the Oyston or pushing 2 more damage to James. We'll take a look and see what he does with that.
You see a Blood in the Water in James's hand, which, if there is an ally on top or in the hand, is a neat way to preserve quite a bit of life here. I think it's a Sawbones in hand as well. I imagine the last Sawbones in the deck.
Yeah, interesting to note that Gravy also doesn't have any AB, so if he does opt to swing the 2 damage at James, he can't prevent it. And it's interestingly one of the ways that Prism can close out games against Gravy.
That's a good point there.
Yep,
Yeah,
so-
and with Sawbones only being at the 1-off in the hand, I think that's one avenue, but James is a bit of a high life total here, especially with that Blood in the Water in his hand.
Yep. Yeah, he put a yellow card.
Oh, he tried to put a blue Herald of Triumph in his...
Yeah.
Oh no, I think that's a bit of a missequence there. I think we have the judges kind of sorting the situation out.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it has to be a yellow specifically.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
So we have a judge call going on now, and we'll provide an update once that's resolved, because it looks like the deck was looked through and shuffled.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
an unfortunate sequence there. I think he was very excited to make the second play.
Yeah,
I think he could have put the yellow Warcry into the soul, but that wouldn't have triggered the ability of Prism to go search for the Figment of Triumph.
yeah. That's unfortunate. We'll see how this is resolved here.
Yeah. So what do you think is how do you think Daniel can kind of get out of this situation? Because he does seem to be a bit more on the back end for now, right?
I think one thing he has to do is, play the Oyston.
Yes.
Stop that presence on board. The only ally that he can see in James's graveyard is Whaler, which
Yes.
needs like pretty much a 5-card hand to play.
Yeah.
And if he can start preventing, preserving life and sending efficient heralds at James, especially now that he knows that most of the poppers in James's deck are gone, I think that's a way he can kind of claw his way back into the game. He has done a very good job of clearing allies and being efficient about it, not just sending large heralds at small allies. And I think there is the potential for James to run out of allies and just be stuck with a lot of cards like Portside, Tip the Barkeep, which don't actually do anything on their own without allies to kind of back them up.
Yeah, kind of like his hand last turn, right, where he drew essentially 3 blues that don't attack with just a random tipple.
Yeah, imagine if he didn't have the tipple. The turn would probably just be swing Oyster for 3.
Yeah.
Swing
So
Oyster.
if he keeps drawing those hands, Daniel might be able to take it back and then
Yeah.
kind of push back damage, right? And then James will have no choice but to block, because if not, he's gonna just go to his turn and do nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think at least for James, one way he could guarantee close out the game is try to find the Whaler Blade.
Yeah.
Right? And generally to do that, you want to arsenal a card that generates resources and is a blue. Things
think-
like
yeah.
Chart, Give No Quarter.
I think it's a perfect card right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like the judge call has been resolved. We'll see how they've chosen to.
Yeah, I think he simply chose not to put the card into the soul.
Oh, this is
Right?
That is pretty bad. And this is a white term from James here. This is a 6 go again into probably an Oyster swing.
Yeah, and now that.
And Daniel has drawn a no block in the Light of Soul.
Yep, so crazy that the Avasi is able to extend his turn here.
Yeah, that's quite unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
so
he does have the Herald here to clean up the Sawbones, and he does hit on the Light of Soul this time,
yep.
which
so,
now lets him search for the Figment of Triumph.
Yeah. So we'll see if he decides. I don't think he's gonna flip here, or he might flip simply for life, because he's not able to swing the Angel if he chooses to flip.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to do, and it looks like he does decide to flip here.
Yeah. So here we go.
Oh, we see James moving very quickly here, and I think this is the Humperdinck swing you were talking about.
The CFE. Yep,
And he
there
can
we
even
go.
he even swing the Oyster as well, because he
Yeah.
has the Gold Kiss Rum. This might be lights out here for Daniel. I think he has to give the whole hand to live.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's
That is game for
Yeah,
James. Moving on to X1.
All right, James.
Very, very well played from both our players here.
Locking himself for top 8, if I'm not wrong,
Yes,
by
I-
being X1 now.
I think he is locked for top 8 in a very good position to be first seed,
Yes.
which is very impressive
And
from our one pointer here.
Hey, yeah, so once again showing that, your past achievements don't define you, and
Yeah.
anyone has the opportunity to really make their mark in nationals.
Yeah.
And
Daniel is still in a very good position to be in the top 8. I think he just needs to win the last one if he's not already locked, to be honest.
He
So-
could already be locked.
Yeah,
as
it could
well.
already be locked. I mean, both these players could very well be locked already. It could just be a matter of standing. So we'll see how things pan out after the next game, which is the last game of our Swiss rounds here for the Singapore Flesh and Blood Nationals 2025.
Yeah, and Kelvin, do you know how much Oyster generated, how much value Oyster generated that game or not?
I would say about maybe 15 value,
yeah.
15 value.
Quite good, quite good. I think you should consider it in your deck.
Sure. I will. I'll think about it.
But yeah, alright everyone, thank you so much for watching that game. Very exciting, and we'll come back with the last round of Swiss before moving into top 8. So
Right.
stay tuned.
right, guys, we are back with the standings after round 11. And this is heading into round 12, the final CC
Yes.
round before the top 8 cut. So this round is very important.
Yep.
Why?
I think the top 4 slots in for this event has been locked. Anyone who is scoring above 9 or 10, it's locked in the top 8. However, we actually have 8 pointers.
Exactly 8.
Exactly 8.
Yes.
So
And only four of
nobody
them
will
can
bubble.
make it. Yeah.
Yes.
4 of them can make it. So the top 4 of these 8 pointers will make it to the top 8. But let's talk about the top 4 first. 2 Gravies, 1 Prism, 1 Auxilio.
Yes. Whoa, were you surprised about that?
Yeah,
Auxilio?
wow. Very surprised. He just beat Synindra, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Yes, he just beat Synindra in his previous round to lock his spot in the top 8. And yeah, okay, so we are featuring next, we have Benjamin Lim. Is
Yes.
that right? Benjamin, he's on Azalea. Against
Against Dory.
Dory.
on
Okay,
set.
okay. So none of the top 10, but they are the other 8s,
Yes.
basically, that can make
Actually,
it.
there are 7.
Oh.
Because I think none of the 8 pointers want to be on stream.
No, but why we...
No. Really. We asked all of them already. They all deny it.
Then why? But why are we showing this stream?
But,
Hang on,
but, this
okay.
is, but this is the most interesting one. Oh no, you really want an 8? Sorry.
We need to show a win and in.
Okay.
I think we need to show a win and in.
We need to show.
Yes, okay, sorry guys. We are going to change. Make sure we have a win and in on the top table.
Alright,
We'll be right back.
Sorry.
No, we have to show a win and in. Okay. So
Alright.
slight miscom there, but we do want to show a relevant game for the stream. So we are putting Keith back here on Puffin.
On Puffin.
Yeah, one of the interesting ones, I would say. And he's up against Ivan Teo.
on Slippery.
Oh,
Arachne
yeah.
slip through a crack.
Slip through the cracks.
Yep.
So we already know that Keith is kind of on a fatigue build.
Yep.
And Slippy is quite aggressive. So we'll see how they navigate through this matchup. But it is a win and in. So whoever wins this is going to get into the top 8.
Yes.
Yes. So like we were saying just now, 4 of these 8 pointers will make it into the top 8 because there are exactly 8 of them. So exactly half of them will make it into the top 8. And we're talking about the spread. We have 2 Gravies that are in. We have an Auxilio,
A Prism.
a Prism, and we might have a Puffin now.
Yep. We might even have a Puffin. And yep.
Yeah. We also, I think what I saw just now, we will guarantee have a Verdance because
Oh yes,
there are 2
Jinghan.
Verdances.
Yes. Jinghan and Gordon are playing in for top 8.
Yes. So the 2 Verdances right now are fighting it out, and one of them will make it in. There's also a Dash IO. Baron Kong is in there. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very
yes.
interesting. Okay, so players are seated down now. We are getting ready, preparing the overlays. I think there will be a slight time extension because of this miscommunication.
Yep.
But yes, excited for this game. How do you think it will go?
Okay, I think let's just say like Slippery, because in the past Slippery have a not a very good matchup against Dash IE on the fatigue plan.
Yes.
It's quite similar to what Keith is trying to pull with the Puffin deck.
Yes.
However, I think Keith is lacking a few of those big D-Rex, like unmovables, to stop some of the over-the-top kind of bonds play where it's coming for 10. So I'll say that this game can be quite close. It can go either way actually.
Is Keith I mean, what is Keith well known for playing for actually? Do you know?
Actually, he's a well-known Guardian player. Yeah. Fun
I
fact:
see.
he actually went 7-1 in PTLA last year
Okay.
on Victor.
On Victor.
Yeah,
Okay.
he
Okay.
actually managed to win clashes against Chaos.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the KO PT.
That's how you win clashes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how you beat the chaos.
that's how you beat
Winning
KO
the clashes.
with Victor. Yes,
Yeah, that's crazy
it's
actually.
crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, I do agree. Like compared to the dash build, the fatigue dash build, right? Comparing this to the Puffin build currently, missing a few key defensive pieces. Because I believe the dashers they run the steel soul armors, that kind of stuff.
Yes, yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, so if they sometimes get to equip that on turn 0 or even halfway through the game when there's a lull,
Mm.
it's quite a lot of value.
Yeah. Technically, the adaptive plating is a base piece, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. It's
No,
not.
only adaptive dissolver.
Oh, only dissolver is
yeah,
the
yeah,
base.
yeah.
Ah, so you can't add it on.
You can't. Okay, but we're starting here. Ivan is starting us out with, I believe that's a malign.
No, I think that's Wither, the
Sorry,
one that
Wither.
give frailty.
Mm. So on hit makes a frailty, and yeah, very interested to see how Puffin navigates this as a
think-
guardian.
I think one card when I was spectating Keith just now
Mhm.
that really impressed me was Sunken Treasure,
Yes.
the new blue card from High Seas.
Yes.
It have a block effect that allows you to flip a card from the opponent graveyard face down.
Yes.
If it's yellow, you create a goal,
Yes.
but it can be any card.
Yes.
So in the previous game, the first game today, you can see that Keith actually used it to block with it and actually banish turn face down one of Syndra's
Syndra's
dagger.
daggers, yeah. I mean, obviously you want to hit like the allies, right, for Gravy Bones.
Yes.
But in this case, you can hit like Codex targets,
Yep.
and like CNCs and leave no witnesses,
Mm.
right? But we see here he's committed a Palantir to the block. Ivan has pitched a blue and a Razor's Edge. He's just sent Wither into Dagger. And yep, Puffin out of cards here, blocked with a Conqueror, blocked with a Palantir, blocked with a Loan Shark.
Mm.
Those seem like powerful cards in the deck.
Yep. But we can see that Keith's game plan is mainly to fatigue
Yes.
Ivan. So yeah, most of those cards, although there's names to it, they're mainly just 3 blocks.
Although there's names to it. Yeah, they do have names.
Yeah, they do have names.
Okay, so over to Puffin. What is Keith's offensive plan then?
Right now, I think the cards that you want to see are like Palantir, CNC,
And that's,
Conqueror of High Sea.
I believe that's the other 2 Palantirs
Yes.
in his end. He's drawn 4 reds
Yes.
with a turbine. That's not great, unfortunately.
Yep.
Is Palantir part of the plan then? Getting to snipe some equipments?
Yes, I think Slippery also have that break armor
Yes.
piece issues.
Yeah.
So once Ivan loses the black tag, he can't use the leg piece as a free equipment to throw onto the attack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so looks like Keith is hoping to draw into a pitch card here. Just making a turbine, cranking it, and then activating Polycranker to draw a card of Puffin. And just gonna be a skimmer here, coming in for 7.
I think it's quite interesting that Keith actually opt to send out the Polycranker this early into the game.
Well, we did see his hand, right? It was all reds.
Yeah, it's all red. It's sort of
Yeah.
like a way to draw an extra card here.
Yeah, hoping to draw out, I think.
Mm.
But also quite unfortunate, I guess. Okay, so Ivan moving to block.
Oh, Ivan moved to block with a Leave No Weakness and an Art of Desire body, covering 6. Keith tapped the Golden Cock to give Sky Schemer go again.
Okay.
He drew a blue but opts to just fire the pistol for 2.
Yeah, actually, I wonder what he was hoping to draw.
Actually, maybe another 0 for 4, so that he can push a bit more damage. I think the turns where you play the Polycranker is a way, to try and take back tempo,
Yeah, yeah,
because you sort of incentivize the opponent to attack the polycranker
yeah,
instead of your face.
yeah, yeah. I mean, in this case, I think getting rid of Polycranker is relatively simple.
Yep.
Right? You send a dagger, it dies.
Mm.
And looks like Ivan starting out with an infiltrate.
Really good card.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was like the unknown stealth card that came out during Outsiders.
Yeah.
When it was released, everyone was thinking like, "Whoa, card is really cool." But
Yeah.
the only assassin back then was the
Uzuri,
Huntsman.
right?
Huntsman.
Oh, Arangni, yeah.
Arani Huntsman and
Yeah,
Azuri.
and Uzuri.
But both hero doesn't really want to play this card.
Yeah.
And then it finally found a home in Slippery.
And I mean, I think it came out during the Aurora time, right? Because you can just get a 0 for 4.
Yeah,
just
0 for
play
4.
it.
Really powerful.
In this case, maybe not super relevant because he might find like a D-React or he might find a block card. But not gonna hit anyway, so not getting that effect. And Ivan just playing a Codex. Very good card.
Very good card. Pulling back a Leave No Weakness to
Yeah.
threaten Keith Arsenal.
Which does he have? I don't think he has an Arsenal.
I think, yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
Codex will take
Oh,
back.
yeah,
the
okay.
card, yeah.
So pulling Palantir back into his arsenal and then dropping a card here.
I think Keith also have a Crown of Providence, so that the first Arsenal Disruption effect is not really that potent.
And perhaps does he want to put it back underneath though? He's already pitched 2.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
3 in a row.
Yeah. So he might just block this Leave No Witnesses out and then just pass turn.
I don't think Keith actually committed a card to block this turn. So after Codex resolves, he should have 3 more cards in hand.
What I've noticed though from the previous game is that he doesn't really have reliable ways to set up 3 cogs for Palantir, right? So perhaps if you say cog works, the arms is 1, Tinker Rings, you block with it, and then maybe next time you play the cog in the machine. That's probably the best way to get yourself 3 cogs. Otherwise, I don't know, like Turbine, you get 1 at the cost of 2 resources. So it seems difficult to get Palantir's full value.
But you don't really have to get the full value from Palantir. Palantir itself is a very powerful card.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
for-
just the first line of text. That's
just
all
the
you're
first-
playing it
yes,
for.
you're just playing for that.
Yeah.
3 cogs is a bonus. Keep
He does have the 4 block, the D-React, so just had to give up 1 card for that. But no, you're right. So just getting Palantir, I mean, just sending 3 Palantirs, if they all blade break, you get 3 equipments out.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a lot of value already.
Oh.
But we are seeing the cog in the machine. Oh, or not?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
He's trying to do the tunic.
Right,
counter
Tunic first. Yeah, so this makes me actually wonder why he didn't give the arm. Oh well, he had a 4 block. He could have.
Maybe he's saving it for a bigger turn. Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so drawing off the double crank, 2 resources floating, 2 action points.
Yep.
But remember, there is a frailty on board, so Palantir will be slightly reduced.
It's coming for 5. Keith can tap the cog to give it +1 for each golden cogs. So it can come at damage of 7.
Yep. No unicycle shenanigans like in limited. Can't do the triple untap here.
Ivan is looking through his graveyard.
Unless he drew a lubricate.
I'll be surprised if he actually add that card in his deck.
Lubricate to untap the cogs and tap them again.
You know what can make lubricate good? I mean, okay. I feel like the 3 lines of untap 3 cog. If he says untap a cog, untap a cog, untap a
Oh
cog.
yes, I've heard that before. Yes.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
mean-
can choose the same cog 3 times.
3 times, yeah.
Then you
The
only
card's
need
so
1 cog.
better. Yeah. So Ivan is forced to throw the black tag in front of the Palantir.
This will be the first piece of armor to block. We did see his hand. There was a D-React, I believe. and a couple more tree blocks. But Puffin still with one action point and Keith with one card in hand. I mean, Ivan doesn't really care about the damage, right?
Yeah.
It's really on him to try and push the aggression, try and win this game.
Yes. I think Ivan is just happy to throw the black tag here and take the damage.
Yeah. It seems like there's really not much else to consider besides how his own turn will play out.
Mm.
It could be just that he can't really convert his whole hand,
Yep.
perhaps.
Looking through the graveyard also signify a few things, you know, like codex.
Yes, I think there might be a second codex hiding in the arsenal.
Yeah. There's also another reason why Slippery like to look through the graveyard, which is what's the become a copy of the card.
Mantle.
Oh, Mantle. Yes, Mantle.
Yes.
Mantle is also another option.
Yes, take up the mantle.
Yeah, I think Slippery as a deck is powerful,
Mhm.
but it's a lot more scary once a Bonds of Agony is in the graveyard.
Yep.
And then you always have to play around that Mantle into Bonds play.
Yes. But we do see a sink below coming down from Ivan's hand, not sinking a card, covering up 5 damage and taking 2 because it was pumped up to 7.
Yep.
Okay, so over to Ivan. Let's see what he has figured out with his hand. I actually like the Graphene Solicera in Slippy. If you get one, then it always has go again, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But starting here with a pain in the backside. And how important, maybe the mark thing is actually quite important. Now that you mentioned take up the mantle, right? That relies on the opponent being marked.
Yeah. Mainly the only options to mark the opponent as Arachne, slip through the crack. It's exactly the flick knife, throwing
Yes.
the dagger at your opponent to mark them.
Yeah. I mean, pain in the backside does that as well.
Pain in the
ish,
backside,
right? You don't have to destroy the dagger.
It's quite interesting that Ivan chose to mark Keith right here instead of like doing the reaction step.
Yeah.
I actually said
okay.
he trying to get the Griffin,
Yes.
the Gryphian
Shalicera.
Serifera into play.
And it's going to pump the next stealth attack by 3, so this is an infiltrate for 6.
Go again because
Yes.
this is still the first stealth attack that's been played.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, now having the Graphene always means that it's just like a Kodachi, right?
But you require your opponent to be marked to have the go again.
No, it's a stealth attack.
Oh yes, the first stealth attack. Yeah.
So it's as long as it's the first stealth attack, it's always going to have go again. Thanks to Slippy.
Sense of Slippery, yes. It's it also synergizes very well with Tarantula tossing
Yes.
because of it being both a dagger and a stealth attack.
Yes. Tarant Toxin can potentially be a 0 for 6
If
if opponent.
if Keith chooses to block the dagger.
But that is just gonna like keep poking Keith. I think that's what's gonna like whittle down the life and just chip in for incidental damage.
Yep.
Okay, so Keith shaping up to block with 2 cards, keeping a C and C in hand.
Oh, choose to block with a Sky Warden.
Oh, this is value with 2 golden cogs on the field. This potentially blocks for 4.
But converts the 2 golden cogs into gold.
Yes, melts it back down for Puffin to reshape into golden cogs. And this is going to cover up 7.
Yep. I think the power of Puffin, you can see here that she gets a lot of very incidental value lines, like
Yes.
Additional block from Golden Sky Warden to convert the golden cogs into gold. Then later you can convert the gold into like
Golden cogs.
golden cogs again,
Yes.
and then if you crank them, you draw a card. So you know,
Yes.
like she's like a well-oiled machine or factory like that, trying to.
Yes, I think one of the variances, I guess, is that you have to draw them in the right order.
Yep.
Right? You draw a Sky Warden and you don't have golden cogs, it's just a block too.
Yes.
You never want to attack with it, I don't think.
And we see the mantle that's being played by Ivan here,
Okay.
trying to transform the infiltrate and giving it +3.
Does he choose anything though? Doesn't seem like it. So it looks like it's just a plain vanilla +3.
Yep.
Pumping
Keeping-
it up to 9.
Yeah, keeping the infiltrate effect and getting a blue turbine. You say, Ivan is scratching his head, he's thinking, oh, what am I gonna do with this? Am I gonna pay 2
To get
do
+1.
No, I think he only had attack +1
Back
to back cards.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Maybe he wants a golden cock. Okay, so Tunic up to
Tunic
3.
up to 3. Load the
Okay.
pistol and fire. Keith choose to keep the CNC in hand.
Yeah, interesting. Doesn't want to pitch it down?
I think he values the disruption a bit more. The guarantee is like Arsenal disruption against Ivan the next turn.
He kind of accidentally revealed it though. So Ivan can just keep playing around it.
Yeah, I mean the first CNC is not that threatening because of Crown of Providence.
Yeah.
So
But he knows like don't Arsenal a D-react.
yeah.
But that's a second take up the mantle into the graveyard. And now Ivan with his own Arsenal disruption.
I think understanding like the win condition of what you're trying to play, especially if Keith understands that, hey, I'm trying to fatigue my opponent in this matchup, valuing each card, having to play out each card to its full value is very important.
But I see a powerful card in Keith's hand that is Cog in the Machine.
Yes.
And blocking here with the crown, crowning away the Arsenal. Blocking for 5.
Yep.
And looks like there is a attack reaction here.
Shred.
Yep, yellow shred. So Leave No Witnesses is still gonna hit for 2, banishing the top card, and that looks like a
That's a red.
yeah,
Yes.
red Sky Skimmer. So he is gonna get a silver off Leave No Witnesses.
Yep. And you can see that Keith is aggressively using his armor to take back tempo.
Yes. Very curious to see what he does here. Plays the cog in the machine. The super duper fat preview card.
Yeah.
Oh, nope.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
He's
he
gonna
re-
tune it
tu-
first.
tunic
Yes,
first,
yes, yes. Yes, he. It's good that he remembered.
Yeah, you know.
Yes.
This is a sign as a Talisha veteran.
Oh, yeah. All right. And this time he is going to tap a cog to put the cog in the machine
In
back
back.
under the deck.
Yeah.
Drawing off Puffin's ability.
Yes.
He seems happy. Okay.
A
and
CNC.
Yep. This is the CNC that we saw last turn. And 2 action points. So CNC and something else behind it.
Yep. I think from the previous Syndra game, I think we also see Keith also running Erase Phase.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Erase Phase is also a very good disruption attack against Slippery.
It turns off Assassin plus?
Yes, assassin reactions.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yep.
So like Shred, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyway, behind is just a pistol for 2, pitching the turbine, and arsenaling a card, passing it back to Ivan.
Oh,
Yes, one of the most powerful new stealth dagger attacks.
I think this card is really interesting. I think this is
Oh,
the
yeah.
only like dagger attack
Yes.
right now in the game. I'm hoping for like a sword attack action card
Oh, okay.
that you
That'll be
can
interesting.
actually be playing in the warrior.
But yeah, so case of death, on hit lose 1 life, and it can be flicked with flick knives.
With the flick knife, yes.
Yes. So Ivan following up the case of death with a pain in the backside, and looks like Keith is taking all the damage here.
Do you know because Kiss of Death is on the combat chain? If the pain in the backside hit, you can actually target the Kiss of Death.
Right.
So it's actually like triple ping here. Keith choose to keep his whole hand here and
Yep.
it's taking a
And-
lot of damage.
Yeah, so he did flick the Kiss of Death. So that Kiss of Death was what, 3, and then ping 1, ping another 2,
Yep. I think it's 7. Oh wait, no, it's actually more than that.
4, 5, yeah, 7.
7. Itself also 4.
Oh, and then pain
to
is
8,
1.
8, yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's see what can Puffin fire back with. I think having the cog here maybe incentivized him, right, to keep his hand.
Yep.
Because now he can convert with things like Sky Skimmer, giving it go again. Okay, and yep, Yeah, we see Ivan. No blocks.
No blocks. Taking 4.
Taking 4.
Oh, Conqueror of the High Seas.
And
that
that is,
explains
yeah,
it. Very powerful card
yes, with 2 float.
with 2 float.
2 float. A 2 float represents so many things.
Yeah, I mean, in the current day,
yeah.
in the past, 2 float is like pummel,
Yes.
pummel.
But now Conqueror has go again.
They call
It can be a CNC behind.
Yes,
It can be a erase face behind. It can just be a Palantir behind. So many options.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ivan is just gonna probably crown away the arsenal here. This has been 4 go again into 8 go again. And there still might be potentially another 6 behind.
Yep.
Or a pummel. Do you think that
I don't think
pummels?
I don't think he run pummel.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I mean, it's a 2 block. It's 2 cost as well.
Yeah. And
So
you're running a lot of 2 calls with Tunic, so there's always that suspicion that hey,
perhaps.
perhaps the pummel is somewhere.
I
somewhere
mean,
in the hand.
Guardians like pummel, right?
Yep.
That's what I've heard. All right, so committing just a nick and crown, blocking for 5, 3 damage going over, and it is a
Another
CNC.
CNC.
Yep. Ooh, and looks like a second just a nick.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the things that's always been awkward about just a nick, right, is that Slippy plays so many 3 powered stealth attacks. So I think you only have what, 12-ish targets?
I think some even have 9.
9, yeah.
Yeah.
So very low 1 attack assassin cards for it to target.
Yep. I think the current Mario list, like the Marionette, Arachne Marionette, they actually go down on the number of just a nick,
mix, yeah.
just because they do not really have enough like 1 attack
Yeah.
stealth cards.
But yeah, so Ivan did take a bit more damage there, just blocking with the just a nick. And now he's firing back with, I think, the 3rd copy of Pain in the Backside. It has been a pain in Keith's backside. Well, not really. I mean, it's just 3 go again.
It's 3 go
right.
again,
It's just
but
1 card.
It threatened the mark, you know.
Yes.
Oh, and we see here the sunken treasure.
So I think there's a leaf there. Oh, he takes a yellow.
Yeah, I think Keith prioritized the goal here. Usually against Assassin, once your better game plan is to outvalue them. Because Assassin usually runs very below rate attacks that encourages you to block.
Yep.
However, if you manage to block out the attack and on hit doesn't go through, you can actually, and you're playing like above rate cards in hand, you can actually outvalue the Assassin.
Right.
Except for Codex. Codex just that good of a card.
Okay, so that was an Art of Desire with Go again, thanks to Slippy, into a Codex. And yeah, we see the Leave No Witnesses coming back. So you don't think there was an argument to turning the Leave No Witnesses down? I mean,
Yeah, there's actually a
right.
heads up play to turn the leave no weaknesses down.
But anyway, I mean, maybe Keith wasn't that scared of it, right? Yeah, the 4 block with the soup up, galvanizing away the golden core.
Yeah, I think we can see like the power of Puffin here, the more defensive kind of Puffin build.
Yeah.
Because of how there's so many incidental like value, like super out blocking for 4.
Yeah.
You can play like the golden cord can like give 1 point of value to give
Yes.
things +1 or go again.
And yeah, so exactly what's happening here, right? Puffin activated, breaking the gold to get a call, and now this Sky Skimmer, even through the Fealty, can be a breakpoint. It's coming in for 3 currently.
Probably a 4.
Probably a 4.
on the golden cord.
Yeah, and it's a Tarantula Toxin coming into block. That's actually an interesting block. Like, that card works so well with the Graphene. Maybe he just thinks he can't get full value out of the Toxin.
Yeah, maybe he didn't draw a blue. Yeah. Ivan opts to play the Infiltrate.
Yeah.
It's the first stealth card.
Not sure if he missed the Tunic.
I think he did miss the
Yeah.
Tunic trigger.
Because Tunic would have let him
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, yes. Keith also actually missed a tunic trigger the last turn.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're just evening out.
fair players.
Fair players. You miss mine, I miss mine too.
Yeah.
You miss yours, I miss mine. Yeah.
But yeah, so Sky Warden actually, I think Keith has been drawing them at just the right time every time so far. Coming in to block in with at least one golden cork on the field to convert it back into a gold. And yeah, just CNC for 6.
Without an on hit technically.
He did draw blue actually. He
Oh,
did have the
draw,
bonds. Yeah.
I think there's like certain matchup that you play in Flesh and Blood. You play that matchup a lot of times. You know what is your win condition. You know what you're trying to do to win. However, if you meet like a deck like Puffin, like a defensive Puffin deck that Keith is piloting now, I wonder what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah.
Like Ivan I think he will be a bit confused, thinking, wait, is this player trying to fatigue me, or are we just playing like a race?
Yeah.
But he didn't block that last turn. He took the damage to launch like a CNC into a pistol shot.
Yeah.
And I mean, he will be very confused.
Okay, but all Keith did was to take up tuning and send the pistol.
Yep. For 2.
And now Ivan here with the Kiss of Death.
Yeah, we also need to take note that the key cards on Ivan's side. I think this will be the second Kiss of Death. And he also played 2 mental. And he blocked with 1 Terrestrial Toxin and playing the second one right now.
Yeah.
So he actually only have 1 of those key card left in his deck.
Yeah. And this is interesting because after Keith said no blocks, Ivan just went to react with the Toxin. And now he's not going to get the -3 on that. Even though he could have waited after to see whether there were reactions, right?
Yeah.
Following up with a pick to pieces. I actually think this card is really interesting. Because people are just playing it because it gets buffed,
It gets buffed, yes.
right? I mean, sure, it's useful into Prism. But into every other hero, is just a slightly bigger stealth attack.
Yeah. I think this card, when they were making this deck at the start, this card was one of the in and out card. They thought that's only for Enigma, but when they tried against other matchups, they realized that, hey, it's actually just good numbers.
Yeah, it's actually just
and
slightly better
yeah,
numbers.
and as Slippery, you just want good number. Because you already have the disruption package. You just need the damage to end the game against certain opponents that's trying to block you out.
Yes, but Keith here having a turn of his own, pitching a blue, cog in the machine. This time not putting it at the bottom, but drawing a card of Puffin.
Really powerful card though.
Of course,
Right.
of course. It's the super duper fat preview card. Of course it's powerful.
Yeah. And he opt to crack the goal here.
Okay, so cracking a goal to draw another card. No float, but now working with 3 cards in hand and 1 in the arsenal. After already pitching 1 and playing 1. So let's see what he can do here.
Oh.
Alright.
Dovetail.
Yeah. Pitching a last ditch effort, sending the Clockworks Dovetail. And yeah, I get what you mean now about the opponent must be quite confused. Like sometimes you're blocking out.
Yeah,
Other
sometimes,
times,
yeah.
you're just sending slightly overrate attacks.
Yes. And Ivan actually brought in more defense reaction into this matchup. So it's like, wait, are you trying to aggro me down, or am I fighting a fatigue player?
Ivan's hand doesn't seem especially great, right? 2G reacts as a shred and I take up the mantle.
Yeah.
Can't really do much with this hand.
It's a 4 reaction hand.
4 reaction hand.
Yeah, but Sing Below is always there just to build you up.
But yeah, I must say, watching this Puffin deck, I don't know, it's not
like what you want it to be, but it's kind of like, I guess it works,
it kind of works.
It kind of works. It makes sense. But, like, it's doing a lot of things of what other heroes can do, but, not as good, but it can do a lot of things. Yes.
I don't know, like, even with this dovetail, right? So, what's the best outcome for him?
Well, it's a 1/7.
Okay, it's a 1/7.
It's a 1/7 with go again because of the extra action point.
Yes.
You attack, you untap the 2 cog, which potentially be another 2 point of value.
Yes.
So, I think it's pretty good.
So what's the best card in the deck? Is it cog in the machine? like
mean,
Because those are the hands so far that Keith has been taking damage on.
yeah.
Right? He sees the cog in the machine, he's never blocked with it. He's
Yes.
always played it out. So, seems to me like you need that card for the deck to work.
Yeah.
Right? You need, I would say, more than one cog. I think you need 3 cogs for the deck to really run smoothly. If you have 3 cogs every turn, the deck is just insane.
Yes.
Okay, so after reactions, keep pumping it up to 7, and Ivan just gonna throw the 2 sync belows in front of that.
Oh,
Oh.
Ivan actually choose not to sing any of the
Yeah.
the strat or mental from his hand.
Yeah. So it seems like he might be trying to play them out. Kind of has to mark Keith first, right? To get the full effect of take out the mental.
Yep.
But he does have a red infect here. And unfortunately, Keith's turn, his second action point was just to send the gun.
Yep.
So not a super big turn like the last cog in the machine. But this is going to be the second sunken treasure, turning a codex face down.
Yep. So
Getting
we can see that Keith is prioritizing the gold generation
Yeah,
over like the codex targets.
yeah, yeah.
Keith, Ivan here
Flick nice.
flick the hunter glaive to mark Keith, which usually means mental is coming.
Yes. I still don't think there was a bonds there though, right? I don't think there's a bonds in.
No,
in
he
the
pitched
graveyard.
one bond.
Yeah.
Oh, there's actually the bond.
Okay, maybe he blocked the one.
Yep. So these are 3 reactions. So bonds is active. So this is an attack that's coming for 7.
Yes, and Sunken Treasure is currently blocking for 0.
Yeah, because of the strat.
Yes. Yep, so players are working that out.
Initial itself. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's bonds now. So it's 7 to 0.
Ooh. But Keith does have the defense reaction, sinking away a card.
Let's see, man. Another 1 to. Oh, he does. Oh, wow. He
just draw-
responds
he drew
the
it,
double
man.
swing with the
He
double
drew
swing.
it.
Oh, such a good player. Ivan is he's like,
This is why you end up 8-3, you know, fighting for top 8.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
yeah.
You see Ivan just shaking his head there.
Good player, good player.
Yeah, good player. Okay. Okay, but unfortunately the comeback here is just a
Bastion for 5.
blue bastion. Coming in for 5. Also interesting to see in the deck is a seafloor salvage. So another thing that makes gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'm not wrong, he's playing all the gold generators that Puffin can play. You got the 2 blues, you got the Lone Shark and Conqueror of the High Seas. I don't think, well, besides Wage Gold, you can technically play that. I've tried.
Yeah. I think looking at Keith's game, all of Keith's game, I think I'm starting to understand what he's trying to do. I think the range of decks that he's trying to target are more like the mid-range fatigue kind of deck. Because he can pivot between like a more disruption game plan to hit like the armor pieces, which usually is what been generating your value over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the confuse factor, you know.
The confuse factor,
The
yes.
should I actually boil D-Rex into Keith, or is he playing a more slower game plan? Yeah.
But I mean, okay, at this stage of the game, the stage of the tournament, right, it's around 12. People should roughly know like how this Puffin is placed.
Yeah.
So Ivan, I think going in with a bit more preparation perhaps than people in day 1. But blocking here with a CNC,
Yep.
covering up 3 damage. Life totals are fairly even, 16 to 13. And Ivan is out of Hunter's Claves.
Yep. But Keith is still marked though.
Ah, yes. Keith is still marked.
Yeah, I think Ivan is also our mentals.
Yes.
I think he left with 1 Just a Nick, and 1 Kiss of Death left in his, and 1 Codex.
And 1 codex,
Codex,
yeah. Okay, so Out of Desire body blocked out by a Conqueror, and this looks like another Wither coming in. It's a Cogworks Workshop blocking.
Yeah. I think one of the weaknesses of Arachne is that if your opponent is comfortable at playing at the 2-card hand rates, so like Earth Heroes like Floran or Verdance, usually have a very hard time.
Okay, so Keith wants to, takes up Tunic and then activates Puffin for the 5,000th time. And this is a Zeppelin for 6.
Yeah, really good draft pick.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. If you have the cogs, it's a 2-card 8.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you have 3 cogs, it's a 2-card 8 and get an action point.
yeah. I think the fact that in CC, creating a cog without cranking, allow you to have to push the cog to the next turn is also really
it's
powerful.
also quite strong, yes. Assuming your whole deck is built around having the cogs. Okay, so Ivan respecting this attack, throwing down a Razor's Edge, and I think it's a mark of the Black Widow.
Yep. Keep up to pump the
Yep.
attack to 7 to
Yep.
chip in 1 damage.
Yep.
I mean, it's not a bad trade, you know. Like you trade 1 gold for 1 damage.
Yeah. And the thing is, the cog here can be galvanized, right?
Yes.
So the cog is you +1 and you +2. The cog can be 3 value.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But this is the first persuasive prognosis we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Coming in for 1 go again.
So right now the question is, does Ivan have the last Justining in his deck?
Has he been saving it for this exact moment? Pinion Sentry coming in the block, tapping a cog to make another cog.
Does he choose to crank it? I think he's deciding whether not to. Oh, he
Probably,
decided
yeah.
not to crank it.
Yeah. Oh, he did have it.
Oh,
and
and
that's
a spike with Blood Rock
Wow.
coming for 9.
Yes, so persuasive +5, +3, and +3 on hits.
Yeah, that's. Oh, Keith respond with the sick. I think he's thinking, what if I draw to another direct?
Does he has, we saw that's all you got, right?
Oh,
We
yes,
saw he
yes.
pitched that. Does he have shelter? He hasn't played a single shelter
I think he
yet.
does have shelter against the Syndra, against Timothy just now.
Yeah, okay, he's bottoming a card here.
Oh, yeah, card. He's choosing to draw. I'm looking through a graveyard, counting the direct.
He's drawing a card. Can he cover up 9 here?
Yeah. Will he be third time lucky?
I guess not, right?
Yeah. Oh, he decided to sink.
Oh, no,
He's going for it.
Wait, he sank already, right?
No, he was
Oh, he was
did- Yeah,
thinking.
he was thinking about the card to sink. And does he draw the other? Oh, the look
Nope.
of disappointment in his face. Don't think it shows that.
Well, but his hand is a loan shark and a soup up.
Yep.
We have yet to see him play a loan shark. Maybe he doesn't play it into this matchup.
Yeah, I don't think it's for
Right.
this matchup.
Yeah. Okay, but they are just
Prognosis first.
Yeah. So I think Ivan is thinking whether to trigger just the Nick first or Prognosis first.
okay,
So he chooses to trigger Prognosis first. Oh, it's a shelter! Oh, it's 1 card off. Yeah, he took the super.
So I'll gain 1 life.
yeah, fix the red, gains a life. Man, the shelter, 1 card off.
Oh, and the dovetail.
Gain a life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, couple of plays that Keith can do here. If you take out the tunic, he can actually pay for the blood
yeah,
rod.
just pay for blood rod, right? I mean, at this point in the game, that might be the best thing he can do, just preserve life.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's done here.
Yeah, and you don't really want to go too low against a slippery because
Exactly.
if you do not have enough D-Rex left in your deck, you cannot really stop the reaction
Yeah.
from the first stealth attack.
And then like Flick Knives just locks you out once you're single digits as well.
Yes.
So Kiss of Death here has to be respected. And Keith is shaping up to block with 2 cards. It looks like he has the 3rd Sky Warden. And just nice he has a cog.
Yep.
Converting back the cog into a gold potentially. But the question is, how much do you block for here?
And also one thing to take note is that Ivan is also running out of key cards.
Yes,
I
but
think the damage dealing cards is, it's all in his hand right now actually.
Look at that.
The 2 spike,
Yeah,
1
the
spike with
spike.
blood rod and
And the Razor's Edge.
in the Razor's Edge. Yes.
But if he wants to flick this Kiss of Death, he has to keep the mark at the second attack that's in his hand.
Yep.
So he can't. I don't think he can play out the spike with Blood Rod here. Right, he goes Kiss of Death, reaction, play the Razor's Edge, and then goes into a second attack, and flicks the Kiss of Death.
Yep.
But getting the spike onto a Kiss of Death and then flicking it. Oh, I mean, that's the best
that's
outcome.
the best
Yeah,
outcome.
yeah. Okay, but here we are seeing Keith soul reading Ivan, blocking for 6,
Looking for 6. Yeah.
turning a card face down.
He might not actually want to go for
Razor's Edge.
the second attack to flick the Kiss of Death. He
Okay.
can always pump for 9 on the
Yes.
Kiss of Death, and then ensure that there's a on-hit trigger on Kiss of Death with the Spike with Blood Rod. But
Okay.
I think Ivan, knowing that Keith had already overblocked
Yeah,
the Kiss of
exactly.
Death, he will just extend the chain.
Yes. Yep. Keith was just giving
Keith
his
was
full
just
hand here.
full hand, yeah.
Reading that Ivan probably just has 2 reactions in hand.
Yeah. I think this is a good play by Keith.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to arsenal any of these blues
Yes.
anyways.
Yes. You don't really want any of those cards except to block with them.
Yeah, and you're also making your opponent not
IP.
playing out. Not playing out his last card.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fair block.
So Ivan IP2s there, but Keith's just gonna draw and pass back. Let's see if Ivan drew any attacks, because he could potentially just run out of attacks.
Yep.
And
The last codex. Wow.
and luckily he has the Shalicera there, I think.
Yep.
Gets to equip the second dagger. Yep. And this is a good end game state for Slippy, right? Just having the 2 daggers there. Coming in for 4 go again on the first Graphene. Looking for a dice.
Super converting the goal into,
The
into 2 blocks.
immediate shred from Ivan.
Yep.
Knocking that down to a 1 block.
Yep. I think every point of damage matters now for Ivan.
For sure. I mean, Keith being at 6 is so dangerous now. Like we know Ivan still has the Razor's Edge.
Yep.
Right?
I think he still has 2 copies of Razor's Edge and 2 copies of Spike with Blood Rod.
I think, yeah, he blocked with 1 Razor's Edge.
He blocked with 1,
He
right?
blocked
So
with
he's
1.
left 1.
Yes.
1 and 2 of them.
Okay.
But Ivan is also low in key cards. I think his only Majestic left is the Codex of Fealty.
Which he just pitched down.
Yep.
And now Keith going to load up Pistol and then send Palantir.
Palantir, yes.
Yep. I think Ivan very heads up, not breaking the Black Tech Whispers. Doesn't really have to.
Yeah,
be
it doesn't
honest.
really have to.
Doesn't really have to. Just leaving that for the Palantir. And it's just 6 damage here. Ivan's still very healthy at 17. So we're gonna take that all the way down to 11. And on his turn, remembers the Tunic trigger. 4 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal.
Oh, gone.
We forgot about this Majestic.
Yeah, we forgot about this one. Really powerful card.
Oh no, this could be devastating. I mean, I hate it in Slippy. I really hate it because when you're at single digits into a bonds, you know that Ivan still has a couple of reactions left. He always has Black Tag and Flick Knives for the 2 reactions.
Yep.
And if you overblock here, he's just going to move on to the next chain link. So, tough, very tough decision. How would you block if you're in Keith's shoes?
Well, I would suspect that Ivan will have at least 1 reaction based on not playing the second, leaving 2 cards
In hand.
in hand the last
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah.
So, however, the attack have to go again.
Yes.
So this is always the tricky part about playing against a Slippery, is that what if he choose to react the next
Yes,
attack instead?
exactly. And here we are seeing a 3 block. So, I mean, honestly, Bonds is, if they activate 3 reactions, it automatically becomes a 4
Yep.
already, right? Oh,
and
and
Keith doesn't have the D react.
yeah, no shelters, no other D-reacts, no that's all you got. Against this Bonds of Agony that has been pumped up by +9.
Yep.
Bonds for 10. So it looks like we're going to see a Ragni slip through the cracks into the top 8.
Yeah, slipping into the top 8.
Slipping into the top 8. Unfortunately, no Puffin. But that could mean a pretty good matchup spread for Ivan. 2 gravies, right? Those
But
seem
no,
decent.
I don't
No?
think Gravy is a auto win.
Mhm.
It's slightly favored, but if the Gravy player knows how to pilot around the disruptions and knowing knowing what ally to play on board, it can actually give Slippery a very hard time.
Okay, okay. My impression is that it's, I mean, I'm sure it's favored. It's because, Greedy doesn't exactly block very well. And yeah, like, allies are quite killable because you always have go again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the issue I think is mostly of like the 4 health and 6 health
Oh, yes,
minion.
yes, yes.
Those are requires
the
a lot of
points.
resource, and most of the reactions that pumps the attack are very important on hits, like Spy with Blood Rod, Mental. Those are the kind of reaction that you want it to hit on the face instead of the allies. So you don't really want like playing those key cards against and like maybe a charm or something.
Okay, anyway, big congrats to Ivan Teo. We will see him in the top 8. And if any of you are watching this on the Super Duper FAB channel, we are going to end the stream here because the top 8 will be streamed exclusively on the One Collectible TCG YouTube channel. We are currently streaming to both channels right now. So we will end it here on the Super Duper Fab stream because we want to try and get people to the One Collectibles TCG. This whole event has been organized by them, and they are the ones that has made this stream possible.
Yeah.
So we want to try and support them. They're doing this Fantasy League as well.
Oh
No, right? Of which, if you had Brandon and a James, premium 5-pointers and 1-pointers, you could win $200 in store credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, top 3 teams win prizes. So head over to the One Collectibles TCG channel for the top 8 stream. We are going to end it right now, and while they set up for the top 8, we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with the live bracket of the top 8 and talk about that.
Okay.
Yes, alright. So see you over at the One Collectibles TCG channel.